The elevator was no longer running, so Yi Lingchen took the stairs 5 steps at a time and dashed upstairs in a flash. If he really was powerless to do anything about that matter, he might just lament ruefully and refrain from getting involved. However, he certainly had that power, and although he could not control it 100%, the fact remained that he possessed that power. Therefore, he could not just ignore the predicament before him. If he chose to ignore it, then what was the use of the Prodigy system? He would forever remain a coward. Great power came with great responsibility. FCK, when did I start enjoying meddling with other people's affairs? Yi Lingchen cursed and continued his mad rush upstairs. There were 16 floors and he did not slow down at all halfway. It only took him 2.5 minutes. A sea of fire. A very violent sea of fire. The red flames burned before Yi Lingchen's eyes and the extremely high temperature immediately turned his face red. Soon, dense beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. The 16th floor was going up in flames, and in the end, he could only make a retreat to the 15th floor. The child was on the 16th floor. He could not go up, and he certainly could not go through that sea of fire. Yi Lingchen looked all around him and his expression eventually sank. Mother of *CKER, just risk it. He wrapped the wet towel, which he had prepared earlier, around his face to filter the air. He then walked to the window in the 15th floor balcony. He leaned out first, then gritted his teeth before climbing to the outside. Down below, the crowd was sent into a frenzy upon seeing him climbing. FCK, man. Look, what's that? It looks like a person. The hell? It really is a person. Why are there still people inside? It can't possibly be the person who just rushed in, right? That would be too fast. What does he want to do? He's not thinking of crawling from the outside, is he? This is crazy. Amidst the flurry of exclamations, Yi Lingchen's entire body was already outside the window. He gripped on the window's edges, and his whole body was lying flat on the walls of the tall building. 15 floors were almost as tall as a small hill and many did not dare to look down. Despite that, Yi Lingchen clung to the wall and moved little by little. From the looks of the situation, he seemed to be attempting to save the trapped children using only his bare hands. It was too shocking and too bold. His courage was commendable, but his actions were not well thought out. Young man, please stop for a moment and ensure your own safety. The fire chief immediately took the horn loudspeaker and shouted. At the same time, many reporters caught wind of the news and hurried over. One by one, they pointed their cameras at the fire and took photographs. Cameramen were also in place and they made live news broadcasts on the spot. Little Ya was an outdoor host. With her eloquent communication skills, she brought everyone sightseeing around Capital's various attractions as well as doing mukbangs of Capital's delicious food. As a result, she garnered quite a following. She was doing a live stream around the area that day, and after hearing of the fire, she rushed to the scene as fast as she could. Holding her mobile phone, she pointed the camera toward the scene of the fire and put on a solemn expression when providing live updates. Gosh, what happened? Why did it catch fire? The fire is now extremely strong and it's on the verge of being out of control. Next, she recorded the firefighters and the onlookers who were all around her. She then said in a worrisome tone, "It's so scary. I don't know if there are any casualties." She immediately went up to the crowd to get a better idea of what was happening. The more she listened, the more shocked she became. With the camera focused on the building, she zoomed in. There are still 2 children trapped in the building. The situation is critical. God must protect them. Then, as soon as she turned the camera, she saw a figure was slowly moving along the building's outer wall. There were little, if any, areas on the external wall that could be used as support. Nevertheless, the figure was able to use the wall's friction as well as some protrusions to get a firm grip. The fire itself had already caused enough of a stir within the live stream. The appearance of a figure on the building induced yet another hubbub. Many fans began spreading the news about the broadcast and countless people soon poured into the live stream. God! Does that person want to go up and save those 2 children from the 15th floor? That guy is amazing. He's a hero. How did he do it? This is so mystical, like he has superpowers. Man, your behavior is stupid, but I want to tell you that, you're a real man. He reminds me of someone. Superman. Why? Countless people looked at Yi Lingchen from down below. His hands clenched unknowingly and a tense look was plastered all over his face. Many among the crowd were unable to do anything else except fold their hands together. The only thing they could do was close their eyes and silently say a silent prayer for Yi Lingchen. The parents of the two children even knelt on the ground and looked up at the sky. Their lips trembled as they muttered continuously, "Please protect them, God." Of course, Yi Lingchen did not have the luxury of paying attention to everyone's reaction. He had moved halfway by then. The fire was getting closer and closer and he could faintly hear the child's cries. He glanced around and his eyes finally spotted an air conditioner's condenser not far away. After taking a few deep breaths, he bent his slightly. Then, he leapt into the air like a monkey and swung toward the air conditioner. Holy moly! His body landed heavily on the air conditioner's condenser. However, the tremendous impact and weight caused the condenser to sway violently. It squeaked and appeared to tilt as if it would break at any time. "Hero! Be careful!" Everyone's nerves were on edge and there were a lot of shouts coming from below. Yi Lingchen's eyes lit up. His body kept up with his pace, and after stabilizing himself quickly, he proceeded to make yet another jump. He landed on the windowsill of a 15th-floor family home and was directly below the two children. Under everyone's intense gaze, he grabbed the edge of the windowsill. He then gripped hard and launched his body up, planting his feet on the windowsill. "Awesome! Nice job! It's amazing, it's more exciting than making a movie. Even if you make a movie with special effects, it's not gonna be as amazing as this. We have a hero amongst us common folk, this is a real hero. So handsome, he'll be my Prince Charming from now on. Come on, you can do it, you must rescue the children." Whether it was people from the live stream or just passers-by, everyone had their hopes on Yi Lingchen. They stared at the figure on the top of the building without blinking and did not even dare breathe. It felt as though the tiniest action from them would affect Yi Lingchen's ability to rescue the children. Does he want to jump up from the 15th floor? Everyone licked their chapped lips. They looked at Yi Lingchen, who seemed to be gearing up his strength, with great worry. Each household was equipped with an air conditioner, of which the condenser was beside the windowsill. The condenser's distance between two floors was about 1.5 meters away from the windowsill. The previous condenser was on the 15th floor. Next up, Yi Lingchen planned to jump from the 15th floor windowsill to the 16th floor's condenser. Then, with the condenser as a springboard, he would make another jump to the 16th floor. Yi Lingchen bent his legs then launched his body into the air. He managed to step foot on the condenser, which produced a loud clatter. Bang! The impact was much more violent than the previous one, with the entire condenser tilting by more than half. It teetered on the verge of collapse. However, Yi Lingchen had jumped up again after barely setting foot on the condenser. There was almost no pause in between and his hands managed to grab onto the 16th floor windowsill. At the same time, the condenser suffered too much pressure as well. It collapsed immediately and was left hanging on the wall. Yes, he made the jump. It's so exciting, it's more hair-raising than those Hollywood movies. Everyone erupted with praise while the two children's parents were red with emotion. They looked like they had seen the dawn of hope. Phew! Yi Lingchen breathed a sigh of relief and slowly climbed up the windowsill. He then saw two adorable children wiping away their tears. Shocked and surprised, they stared at him with big, red eyes. "Big brother, are you Superman?" Yi Lingchen was slightly stunned when he saw the two children. He smiled and said, "Yeah, I am Superman." "Big brother Superman, then. Are you here to save us?" The little boy looked at Yi Lingchen with a face full of hope. I am." Yi Lingchen felt an astringent feeling in his eyes. He took out the two wet towels he had prepared and gave them to the two children. "Be obedient and listen to me. Cover your mouth and nose with these two towels." The two children were clever. They stopped crying and covered their faces with towels. Yi Lingchen then took off his coat and tied the two children to his back and chest. The people downstairs could not see what exactly Yi Lingchen was doing. They had no choice but to anxiously remain on the sidelines. Only then did they realize something. Even if Yi Lingchen was able to go up, it would be impossible for him to save them. There was no avenue for him to make a retreat. The doors had long been surrounded by fire and the only way was to jump from the window. Moreover, the air conditioner's condenser unit had already been trampled by him. There was no place for him to set foot, let alone the two children. Exhale, exhale, exhale. By then, the sea of fire was getting bigger and bigger. The flames had broken through the walls and were starting to enter the room. The walls were turning red and the room was already beginning to resemble an oven. It was extremely hot and it might burn down at any time. sh*t, sh*t, sh*t. How could this be? This is a dead end, he got himself trapped. God, you're playing a sick joke, aren't you? Stop it, please don't do it. They must survive, they will survive. Yi Lingchen's figure finally appeared again, carrying both children at once, amidst the cheers from the spectators below. Everyone was stunned. Countless eyes and camera lenses were aimed at Yi Lingchen. Could he be preparing to jump off? At the next moment, Yi Lingchen seemed to confirm their guesses. He supported the window sill with both hands and hung down. It was an extremely dangerous position. If his hands so much as slipped slightly, his entire body would fall. Don't be afraid. Whatever happens, don't look down. Be good kids and close your eyes. Count to 15, and you'll be able to return to your parents, Yi Lingchen reassured the two children. We have Big Brother Superman here, so we're not afraid. Both children closed their eyes. Yi Lingchen inhaled deeply and held his breath. He then let go of his grip and was falling vertically down. Ah! What is he doing? Why did he let go? Frightened screams pierced the sky. Many people could not help but close their eyes and were afraid to look. At that very moment, however, Yi Lingchen's formed his hand into a hook shape and accurately caught onto the lower floor's windowsill. Did he manage to get a grip? FCK. Oh FCK, he's amazing. I'm not dreaming, am I? Is this even possible for a human? Superhero. He's China's superhero. He's much more awesome than superheroes from other countries. Keep quiet everyone. Just let me kneel and watch quietly. The windowsills on each floor of the building were arranged vertically with no obstacles in between them. Yi Lingchen followed the same pattern as before. He loosened his grip and fell straight downward again. Reaching the 14th floor, he grabbed the windowsill again. It was the same with the 13th floor, the 12th floor, the 11th floor. The speed with which he descended was becoming faster and faster. After 15 seconds, he managed to land safely. So handsome, so cool, so amazing. Everyone's brain went blank at this moment. They looked at Yi Lingchen in shock and speechlessness. It's fine now. Go back to your mother. Yi Lingchen asked the two children to open their eyes and said with a smile. He was not prepared to stay long. Before everyone had snapped back to their senses, he walked straight out of the crowd. 666,666. I didn't think that such a method of descending a building existed. It's literally like a dream. No, I must be dreaming. Can someone slap me twice and wake me up? My mom just asked me why I was kneeling on the ground. I said I was watching Superman. Host, what are you still doing? Hurry up and go after him. Yes, stupid host. Chop, chop. The barrage of comments in the live broadcast room immediately jolted Little Min 1 back to her senses. She snapped back at once and chased after Yi Lingchen. Hey, please wait, may I ask, can you show me who you are? Little Min looked up eagerly at Yi Lingchen. What do you think? Yi Lingchen smiled and tightened the towel on his face. Then, can you tell me your name? Little Min continued to ask. My name? You probably already heard it before. My name is Y. You really are Superman Y? Little Min's pupils suddenly widened. Excited beyond compare, she said enthusiastically, you have always been my idol. Yi Lingchen nodded casually and began to leave. Superman Y, this is my live stream. They are all your fans. Can you say a few more words? Little Min gritted her teeth and asked him anxiously. Yi Lingchen halted his footsteps for a moment. He was briefly silent before speaking to the camera. Actor Y is good. He has real skills. Leaving her with that succinct sentence, he subsequently made a speedy exit. He was so fast that he disappeared into the street in an instant. The group of passers-by wanted to go after him, but Yi Lingchen was nowhere to be found. The two parents hugged their children tightly, with their tears flowing. Mommy, Daddy, why are you crying? Don't cry. We met Big Brother Superman. The little boy said coquettishly. Big Brother Superman said that those who cry are not good kids. Mommy's really happy. The child's mother was crying and smiling. You mustn't forget Big Brother Superman, alright? You must always be grateful. Do you understand? MMHMM. I want to be like Big Brother Superman and became a big hero too. The little boy nodded solemnly. Like seeing a mystical dragon's head but not its tail, he's the same. Idol. I can't believe I was so close to my idol. Sob. Sob. I can't take it, I'm crying. Superman Y, he finally appeared. I knew Superman existed. He brushes everything off. He seeks to hide his accomplishments and name. Such is his persona, a man of character. The incident went viral at an almost unprecedented speed. Within 10 minutes, Weibo's trending topics, 10 cents push news, and even news browsers were all reporting it madly. It even reached Capital's news channels. In addition to viewing the fire as a cause for caution, the most talked about topic was Superman Y. People sang praises of both his strength and his act of stepping up to the occasion. In that short time, many young people aspired to be Superman Y. He was China's own Superman. Excitement to the point of being incapable of incoherent speech would surely befall everyone when their movie heroes appear beside them. As things continued developing, news and videos on the incident skyrocketed madly, with the views numbering in the tens of thousands. Weibo exploded even more and it became the hottest topic in history. Superman Y finally shows himself again a month later. With Superman guarding my capital, what else do I need to be afraid of? Oh my god, it's the same as watching a movie. This is a legend. Is Superman Y an alien? Superman has appeared. Batman, mutants, where are you? Superman Y, don't just stay in capital. You have to come to Nanking when you're free. Oh, do you know, I watched this video 3 times and I cried 3 times. Never talk to me about Iron Man or Captain America again in the future. I'm a fan of Superman Y alone. I'm his fangirl. I watched the video and cried all night. As a mother myself, seeing those feelings of despair broke me. The family in the video was unfortunate, but at the same time, they were fortunate because they met Superman Y. The crazed surge of discussions showed no signs of abating. Many people were fascinated with Superman Y through the internet. They asked him to accept them as an apprentice and vowed to become the world's superhero. With everything still trending, a host named Little Yaw released a short video. I'm lucky to have the chance to interview Superman Y up close. I'm super lucky. Superman Y is super manly. Once the video appeared, the network exploded and was nearly destroyed. Ah, you're so lucky, host, I'm jealous of you. Host, you're an idiot. You were so close, why didn't you go up and kiss him? Superman Y looks young. Why didn't you tear the towel off his face? Have you not noticed the last sentence that Superman Y said? He mentioned actor Y? Finally, Superman Y's last sentence caused a great majority of fans to simmer with excitement. Each of their faces showed excitement and their heart thumped with emotion as if they had just discovered some shocking treasure. In an instant, countless people flooded actor Y's Weibo. Actor Y, show yourself. Do you really know Superman Y? You're so awesome. Superman Y said you have real skills. What does that mean? Have you guys battled before? OFCK, there's so many Ys. Could it be possible that they know each other in real life? This is 2FC King lit. FC King unbelievable. Putting it that way, actor Y's kung fu is definitely gonna be impressive. The previous video of him fighting a wolf with his bare hands must be real. Ah, our Chinese kung fu has been recognized by Superman Y. This is amazing, actor Y. Please accept me as a disciple. Superman Y had only appeared twice, but deep down, everyone dreamed of being like Superman and other heroes. When the dream appeared in real life, the enthusiasm it ignited would greatly exceed everyone's expectations. In such a short time, Superman Y's popularity had surpassed all other Ys. He became the foremost figure in the world of Ys. Yi Lingchen watched actor Y's Weibo and kept quiet, letting the netizens speak for themselves. He wanted to discredit Xi Lei through Superman Y's words. Soon, many netizens spontaneously got into the groove, scolding Xi Lei and Wu Han on Weibo. Xi Lei, you're insignificant. Actor Y knows real kung fu. If you can't do it, it doesn't mean others can't too. How embarrassing of him to say that actor Y's kung fu is fake. How stupid can one be? Xi Lei, if you've got what it takes to be recognized by Superman Y, I won't be cursing at you now. Wu Han, you're a sissy, don't blame actor Y for looking down on you. A wimp like Wu Han shooting martial arts films? I figure actor Y can kill Wu Han with just a poke of the finger. I'm definitely watching Huo Yuanjia. There's real kung fu in there for sure. Over the next 3 days, Superman Y's mask began to pop up on Taobao. Resembling some of the masks of Marvel superheroes. Superman Y's mask was a black balaclava, although it had a big red Y embroidered between the eyebrows. One, sales skyrocketed once the mask appeared on the market. Of course, those were all the things that happened later. The entire episode elevated the reputation of those other whys. During Yi Lingchen's live stream at night, a countless barrage of comments flashed across the bullet screen, asking him if he had any relationship with the rest of the whys. Yi Lingchen took a crude and simplistic approach when facing those comments. He covered the bullet screen and chose to ignore it. After the incident's subsequent developments, Yi Lingchen's popularity once again exceeded 100,000. It reached 105,876 and was still growing steadily. He originally had no intention to upgrade his knowledge and wanted to boost his popularity first. However, it had to be acknowledged that he found all the amusement very addictive. His hands would feel restless if he did not perform an upgrade, which would then give him insomnia. As a last resort, he entered the system interface and conducted a lottery. He asserted that it was inevitable. 8 extremities fist, martial body fist, calligraphy, massage, German, Russian. The yellow wheel blinkered wildly, skipping from one knowledge to the other. It eventually settled on the 8 extremities fist under Yi Lingchen's intense gaze. Finally, it was another martial art. Yi Lingchen's became slightly excited. His body was the capital for revolution, and his self-preservation force was considered to be another layer of protection. The earlier fire was a good example. If he did not have enough strength, he would have died 10 times over. Likewise, if he was stronger at the time, it would be even easier for him to make the rescue. Only through continuous improvement can one truly embark on the path of Superman. The feeling of being a superhero, it was truly exhilarating. The dazzling radiant light flashed through, and the column of 8 extremities fist changed slightly and turned into 8 extremities brute training, basic. Instead of being a fist force, it was brute training? It was different from what Yi Lingchen imagined. Though it was also a fist technique, the direction with which it went in after progressing was not the same. However, he felt relieved immediately. The 8 extremities fist was indeed very different from the Arhat fist. The Arhat fist was an actual fist technique. It was stronger and more masculine, with the entirety of its essence condensed into a pair of fists. It focused on pure offensive force, but the 8 extremities fist had all-round development, including grappling, defending, shoulder throwing, and so on. All in all, the 8 extremities fist centered more on physical training. In other words, it was a balanced development of the whole body. For example, the smash of the 8 extremities fist's Iron Mountain smash was executed using one's back, not one's fist. Since it was brute training, then it was likely the art of tempering one's skins, fortifying one's bones, and hardening one's body. It was equivalent to refining one's whole body into a fist. If his entire body was a weapon, his defensive strength would be much higher. A satisfied smile appeared on Yi Lingchen's face. The 8 extremities brute training and Arhat fist force could be considered complementary to each other. Not bad. Yi Lingchen contently withdrew himself from the system. He took out his mobile phone and looked at several of his Weibo accounts. Despite not commenting on anything, the comments left behind remained very lively and there were many private messages. One of the private messages caused Yi Lingchen to pause. There was a brief moment of hesitation before he clicked into it. The person's avatar was a very beautiful girl and the Weibo username was Chen Xiaoyan. Chen Xiaoyan sent various personal messages to Singer Y's Weibo every day, one each on either side of noon. Among them, "Good morning" and "Good night" were the most frequent, followed by "Pay attention to me just once" and "Say something." Yi Lingchen did not reply to any of them. It was mainly because he did not know how to face Chen Xiaoyan. Originally, the two were just strangers, but because of an unexpected mishap that led to some rather indescribable things, the relationship became more complex. Chen Xiaoyan had shown a clear indication that she wanted to chase after him. If such a dazzling beauty was determined to offer herself, Yi Lingchen felt pleased but was also unsure how best to deal with it. If he were to accept, it would be much too inconvenient because he had many secrets. If he chose not to accept her, the fact remained that she gave him some special service in the past. He could not possibly be friends with benefits with her, as that would be too irresponsible. Chen Xiaoyan was persistent for days on end, without fail. There were no breaks in between days. It was evident, however, that Yi Lingchen was making her extra anxious at that time. She privately messaged him, "Why? I just want you to keep me company and talk to me, can you please not ignore me? HMPH. If you ignore me again, I'll post on Weibo saying that you disappeared after sleeping with me." The destructive power of that last sentence was undoubtedly massive. Yi Lingchen could not just ignore it. After holding back for a long time, he replied stiffly, "Hey. You're finally willing to reply." Yi Lingchen could hear excitement through the text. He subsequently received a long string of words. "Why? Thank you very much. My life would have been ruined if I hadn't met you. You not only saved me but also let me fulfill my dream. I don't know how to thank you. Actually, I went crazy that night because I was in despair. I'm not a casual woman. I'm all grown up but men only lust for me, so I've never had a boyfriend before. I can do laundry, I can cook, I'm a good girl. Just come out and meet me once, is that okay?" Chen Xiaoyan's unparalleled sincerity left Yi Lingchen speechless for a moment. I believe you." Yi Lingchen replied shallowly in the end. He then followed up with, "My identity is a bit special. I don't want to show myself yet for the time being." "I understand." Chen Xiaoyan seemed to have considered that aspect too. After all, a myriad of whys was running rampant and set off wave after wave of trends. There must be some personal reason why all those whys chose not to show themselves. Instead of forcing it, she continued. "Then you can wear a mask. Just accompany me from time to time, okay?" Did she want to date him while he wore a mask? We'll talk about it again when we have the chance. Yi Lingchen did not decline outright. Seeing Y's reply on her phone, Chen Xiaoyan burst into a childlike smile and jumped down from the bed in excitement. Her face was red, and it took her a long time to calm down. Yi Lingchen said very little, but her heart felt a sweetness similar to that of honey. She looked at the phone stupidly and her face was fully red. Was that how it felt to fall in love? Then, she continued typing. "Why, China's top voice wants me to participate in their new season. Can you come and watch me live? It's okay if you're just there as an ordinary audience member. I just hope you can see me on stage. I feel at ease only if you're there." She gripped the phone tightly after sending it. Her face was tense as she waited for Y's reply. Sure. One simple word was enough to make her heart beat wildly. She was so happy that she began humming. Yi Lingchen undoubtedly had no idea what feelings Chen Xiaoyan was experiencing. Rationally speaking, there was no reason for him to decline, and to top it off, it would certainly feel good to listen to the songs that he wrote live. "It's agreed then. Good night." Chen Xiaoyan replied without holding Y back, hoping he would continue to chat with her. Good night. The next day, Yi Lingchen woke up earlier than usual and ran towards the park with his two wolves. He could not wait to practice the 8 extremities brute training. With that upgrade, some of the original moves of his 8 extremities fist had also changed. The physical requirements were rather high. Some movements were highly dependent on the body's flexibility, as well as balance and strength. In addition to that, the cultivation method had also changed. The coherent movement was no longer needed, but rather, the focus was on posture. A single posture might have to be sustained for 10 minutes for the muscles to be trained. There seemed to be a big difference between martial arts techniques. It was not apparent at first sight but was more evident after the upgrade. Breathing was a part of the Arhat fist force's cultivation, as it eventually entailed cultivating the production of qi or inner force from one's fist. On the other hand, the 8 extremities brute training revolved around movement and physique. If one insisted on classifying them, the Arhat fist force was similar to the cultivation of qi, while the 8 extremities brute training was pure external power. After cultivating for a full hour, Yi Lingchen practiced each movement from the 8 extremities brute training from the beginning till the end. Despite having to gasp for air due to his constitution, he could feel the muscles in his entire body swelling up. Yi Lingchen felt happy rather than surprised. It was a sign that the 8 extremities brute training had visible results. He let a drawn-out sigh of relief and froze slightly. He then smiled and shook his head. Little Gray and Little Green were just beside him, and he saw them striking a pose. The wolves' faces were simultaneously cute and serious. Their posture resembled a movement in the 8 extremities brute training. They must have been bored and decided to cultivate with Yi Lingchen. Hoo. Seeing Yi Lingchen looking at them, the two little wolves whimpered immediately with pitiful looks in their eyes. "Dad, save us quick. We're numb, we can't move." What was going on, little guy? It's numb already. Looks like you need more practice in the future. Yi Lingchen smiled, hugged them in his arms, and gently massaged them. "You should be glad I can speak dog language, otherwise, you might have to stay here for the entire day." Hoo hoo hoo. The two little wolves narrowed their eyes in satisfaction and lay in Yi Lingchen's arms, sobbing non-stop. When passing the familiar villa, the two wolves straightened themselves and their ears were upright. Their liveliness perked up and they wiggled in Yi Lingchen's arms, calling out to him as if to bask in their achievements. "Dad, those two women are fighting again, hurry up and look." Yi Lingchen's forehead had black lines all over. "The two of you live up to the phrase, color wolf." "Hee hee, there's nothing interesting to see, it's not like I'm that kind of person." Yi Lingchen remained concentrated on the road ahead and slowly walked past the villa. Before he even took 2 steps however, he immediately retreated backward. Going through the same familiar motions, he climbed up the window. Li Mushui and Huang Xiaomeng went at it frequently, it seemed. Did they do each other whenever they had time to spare? Were their bodies even able to hold up? "I'm worried about their bodies, that's all. My intentions are pure." In between moans of pleasure, Yi Lingchen peeked up slowly from the window. By then, something calamitous happened. He saw a pair of lustful yet blurry eyes staring back at him. They were looking at each other. "FCK, am I caught red-handed? Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing?" Yi Lingchen had never felt as dumbfounded as he was then. His mind went blank and he froze on the spot. At the same time, those hazy eyes were at first surprised, then terrified, then shocked. It finally evolved into a very harsh scream. "Ah hhhhhhh." Li Mushui became flustered, her face reddened, and she nearly fainted. The scream snapped Yi Lingchen back to his senses. He jumped down without any hesitation and fled quickly. "I've been exposed. Run!" Yi Lingchen made a gesture to Little Green and Little Gray. A man and his 2 wolves then ran off without a trace. "Sister Mushui, what's wrong? Did I hurt you?" Huang Xiaomeng looked at the panicked Li Mushui and asked worriedly. I just saw Yi Lingchen." Li Mushui nearly cried. "What?" Huang Xiaomeng was shocked. "Where?" Li Mushui pointed to the window with a crying voice. "Just from that window, what should we do? He must have seen everything." Huang Xiaomeng looked over but saw no traces of Yi Lingchen. She could help but ask doubtfully, "There's no one where? Did you see wrongly?" "Sister Mushui, you must be seeing things. This is Hill Spring Residences, a high-end community. How could Yi Lingchen possibly be here? And how could there be such a coincidence in this world?" "I didn't see wrongly. It must be him," Lu Mushui insisted. "Oh, I know," Huang Xiaomeng exclaimed. She thought of another possibility and said angrily, "Then that means his rich sugar mommy must surely be living here. Shameful." "Xiaomeng, we were seen naked, aren't you bothered by that at all?" Li Mushui always felt that Huang Xiaomeng's brain circuits were a bit off. "What's the big deal? Everyone is just skin and meat. How different can a person be? We also peeped on him in the toilet last time and saw his ding-dong. So this time it's even," Huang Xiaomeng said indifferently. Li Mushui stared blankly at Huang Xiaomeng and was momentarily at a loss for words. "Xiaomeng, don't let this happen to us again in the future. I'll feel embarrassed to death if anyone else sees me," said Li Mushui as she took a deep breath. "Oh, Sister Mushui, don't worry. At most, we'll just be more careful next time and close the curtains." After a pause, Huang Xiaomeng's eyes rolled back and she continued, "But since that gigolo had the balls to peep on us, we're going to seek an explanation from him." When they went to school the next day, little Jen's trio immediately gathered around with excited looks all over their faces. They then said to Yi Lingchen sneakily, "Yeezy, great news. I just heard from the sports department that He Yuan's status as the student council president has been revoked. He doesn't even have his position as a sports committee member. Evil has its retribution. Muahahaha. I'm so happy," Potato happily said. "Let's see whether he continues to act bullish in the future." Shang then continued, "He better not show up in front of me, otherwise, I'll beat him every time I see him. If Yeezy didn't come forward this time, our school's reputation would be thrown down the drain." "This has attracted the attention of the school leaders," said Xiao General. It was then that sports committee member Gao Wen came over. "Yi Lingchen, Principal Shen is looking for you." "Principal Shen?" everyone simultaneously exclaimed in surprise. "Yeezy, could it be that you're being invited to become president of the student council?" Xiao General speculated. "OFCK. That's FCK dope, Yeezy, you'll have to cover your 3 bros next time." Potato's eyes shined. Yi Lingchen shook his head bitterly, he had no time to become student council president. He followed Gao Wen to the principal's office. As soon as he entered the door, he saw Principal Shen sitting at the desk and chatting with a middle-aged man. Yi Lingchen had seen that middle-aged man before. He sat next to the principal during the school basketball competition and his status was evidently very high. The two men smiled immediately when they saw Yi Lingchen. The middle-aged man came forward, extended his hand, and spoke first. "Hello, Student Yi. I am the president of Capital's Basketball Training Association. My surname is Zhang." "President Zhang, what an honor." Yi Lingchen reached out as well and shook hands with Chairman Zhang. "I was present during the basketball game, and Student Yi's performance was amazing. I'll tell you up front that your level is far beyond the average professional athlete. I was wondering if you were interested in joining our basketball association?" President Zhang got right to the point and asked. "Join the basketball association?" Yi Lingchen was rather surprised. "Can you tell me what the basketball association does exactly?" Pardon my oversight." President Zhang then continued. "The Basketball Association is a place to train professional basketball players. Capital Basketball Association recruits and selects the best young basketball players from all over the country. After undergoing training, they can go abroad and play against foreign teams." After a pause, he tried to press further and said, "Student Yi, you must surely have heard of the DBA and MBA. Basketball is a superstar sport now. With your abilities, Student Yi, you can become tomorrow's basketball star. And when you join our association, there is 400,000 in allowances and financial aid every year. All meals will be provided as set meals that conform to the highest nutritional standards. We will be responsible for your 5 insurances and 1 housing fund one. Even if you retire, we will ensure that you receive your life's basic needs." Beside him, Principal Shen also said, "Student Yi, you will also be the pride of Capital University. The university will help with your publicity, fame and fortune." There was no doubt that President Zhang and Principal Shen came prepared. How many people, especially those in their youth, could withstand such temptation at that day and age? It was practically a worry-free life coupled with fame and fortune. Every basketball player was selected from thousands of people, with their bodies dedicated to national sports, and having to undergo difficult training. It was no surprise that they received such treatment. Unfortunately for the two men, the boy they were facing was Yi Lingchen. He shook his head then said, "Thank you, President Zhang, for the admiration, but my ambitions are elsewhere, I'm sorry." Both President Zhang and Principal Shen went blank, as though they never expected Yi Lingchen to refuse so decisively. They lost themselves for a brief moment. President Zhang looked at Yi Lingchen, took a deep breath, and asked, "Student Yi, can you tell me the reason?" "I have no time to participate in training," Yi Lingchen answered curtly. Yi Lingchen did not think too highly for that insignificant amount of money, although the fame did attract his attention. Other than football, basketball was the ball game with the greatest number of fans. Once Yi Lingchen became an outstanding player, it was equivalent to that of a superstar. People would go crazy over him and his popularity would soar. However, he would decline without hesitation if he had to attend training regularly. "It's fine if you want me to join the association, but I won't attend training all the time. I'll only play when there's a competition." Yi Lingchen's words shocked both Principal Shen and President Zhang. Was he arrogant, ignorant, or overconfident? Basketball was a ball sport, and in addition to individual skill, there was added emphasis on teamwork. Therefore, regular training was essential, and as an athlete, a perfect physique needed to be maintained. Both the athlete's exercise and diet must be strictly controlled. However, Yi Lingchen was not prepared to join in any of the Basketball Association's activities and was only interested to participate in games. Could that even be considered, joining the Basketball Association? President Zhang opened his mouth but was momentarily unsure as to what he should say. "You're talented, Yi Lingchen. It's good for young people to have self-confidence, but they can't be too overconfident. If you don't have the time, it's still okay if you attend training a few times a week. It's good to build rapport with your team members." Principal Shen was prepared to meet halfway for the two of them. "President Shen and President Zhang, I really don't have the time. I'll go to the Basketball Association when I'm free, but my freedom can't be limited. If this can't be agreed on, there's no way I can join." Yi Lingchen shook his head. His expression remained indifferent from the beginning until the end, but his tone was very firm. "Your skills are very good. You nearly carried the entire team in the inter-university basketball competition. But that's only an inter-university competition. Our association will compete with the rest of the world. President Zhang's voice was solemn. Do you know where China's basketball rank in terms of caliber? We count from the bottom up. Without even mentioning those countries in Europe and America, we're not even as good as the Sun Nation. Where do you get your confidence that you can skip training? Do you think you can win if you face other countries? If President Zhang doesn't believe that I can win, then why come to me? Yi Lingchen's eyes looked directly at President Zhang. The intense glimmer in his eyes caused Chairman Zhang's eyes to feel a slight tingling. I guarantee I can win. Do you believe me? Silence. Both President Zhang and Principal Shen could feel the aura emanating from Yi Lingchen's body. It was like a sharp ray of light that seemed capable of piercing through everything. I'll consider your proposal, and I hope you'll reconsider too. President Zhang finally relented. He looked at Yi Lingchen and sighed, I'll come looking for you again. Yi Lingchen's talent was too good that he really could not bear to just give up on him. Ring ding ding. Yi Lingchen's cell phone rang as soon as he walked out of the principal's office. The caller ID was Song Qian. It was obviously an urgent matter if he called at that time. Hello, Director Song. Why God, I have bad news. I hope you prepared yourself for this. Over the phone, Song Qian's voice was so solemn that it made it clear he was not in a good mood. Tell me. We just received a directive from above. Song Qian paused for a few seconds, likely to try and restructure his sentence. It's a request to shut out your live stream. From above? Is it from the TV bureau? Yi Lingchen's voice was extremely calm, as if it was nothing disconcerting. Oh, if they want to shut it, then let them shut it. Why God, aren't you angry? Song Qian was surprised. In all honesty, he was fuming beyond compare after receiving that news. He even thought of finding someone to vent it all out. It's normal. The crimes in the 10 deadly sins are too bloody and violent, and some crimes are not suitable for the public. The TV bureau is right to ban its broadcast. Yi Lingchen then continued indifferently, we have to respond to the country's call. It's good enough that they banned my live stream instead of banning me. In addition to the recent craze over the wise, the 10 deadly sins would surely bring about a lot of negative effects. Song Qian was startled by Yi Lingchen's acknowledgement. A banned live stream was a great loss to the host's popularity and money. Any other person would find it unbearable to be in that position and would at least utter a couple of profanities. Yi Lingchen, however, was just so calm. Yi Lingchen was worthy of being the successor of socialism. Song Qian suddenly felt ashamed. Why God, I'll try my best to help you, but I hope you can make preparations and come up with more high-quality work as soon as possible. Song Qian spoke to Yi Lingchen again before hanging up. It's good to be banned, just for a while. Yi Lingchen smiled indifferently. However, he also kept an eye on it. He logged into the live stream with his mobile phone and took out all the money he had earned from it. Since the live stream had been banned, he had no idea if the money would be blocked as well. The total was RMB 53,865.04. It was already quite amazing that he made so much money in less than 2 months. Yi Lingchen was known to spend very little time to do his daily live streams and would ask for leave from time to time. If that were not the case, he would have earned even more. He was Haiyu's bringer of wealth. However, judging from the value of Grave Robbers Chronicles and the 10 Deadly Sins, $500,000 was not considered much. After Song Qian hung up, someone ran over to him and hurriedly said, Director Song, CEO Wang requested your presence at the meeting room now. Okay. Song Qian nodded and could already predict the possible contents of the meeting. He then hurried to the conference room. Many high-level Huyu members were already present in the conference room. Wang Yuan, Zhou Min, and Si Yu were all there as well. Wang Yuan only spoke up when Song Qian arrived. Everyone is probably already aware that Why God's live stream has been banned. What's your opinion on this? CEO Wang, I think this is the time for us to support Why God even more. If we continue to promote him, he will be grateful, Song Qian said immediately and added, if we can just find a way to set aside this ban directive and ban only the 10 deadly sins instead of the live stream itself, that'll be the best. Hey, are you nuts? Song Qian? Zhou Min snickered. You want to continue promoting Why God? Why should we even get him on board with us? What privilege does he have that we must ingratiate him? It's even more ridiculous to try and quash the ban directive. Do you know how much it will cost us? CEO Wang, talent is the most important. Why God's potential can shoulder that. Song Qian continued to persuade. Song Qian, I don't agree with you, another bald man spoke up. Why God has only spent 2 months live streaming in our studio. We can't even consider him one of us. We should not waste too much on him. I agree, another senior member chimed in. Why God definitely has what it takes, considering his ability to create Grave Robbers Chronicles and the 10 Deadly Sins. But this kind of work fluctuates greatly and often needs inspiration. Will Why God's next creation be a hit as well? We can't bet on it? But, alright, that's enough, CEO Wang immediately interjected. Half of the copyright for Grave Robbers Chronicles is in our hands and we are in a position to call the shots. Why God's live stream is banned, so he has no value at all. There's no further need to discuss this matter. Seconded, everyone except Song Qian expressed approval as soon as CEO Wang finished speaking. Song Qian looked at the others incredulously, his face full of bitterness. It felt as though the group of people arranged everything from the very start. However, he still argued rationally, CEO Wang. Why God has brought great benefits to our platform. We can't be too absolute in our decisions. We should still try to make reasonable arrangements. Song Qian, we're a live streaming platform, not a charity club. Why God is banned, so everything has to start from scratch. Naturally, that means the previously signed contract will be null and void. Zhou Min sneered. I know that you're the one who brought Why God here and that's why you're reluctant, but Why God doesn't have any value at all anymore. Correct. Wait till Why God has another trending creation. Wang Yuan nodded and looked at CU. The next key focus is CU. Thank you, CEO Wang. CU's excitement perked up immediately. CU, you'll be our leading woman for Huyu in the future. You must perform well. Zhou Min also smiled and remarked, as I said before, the essence of a live stream is to be eye-catching. Some people insist on being unconventional. It's like a brief fire, igniting then disappearing quickly, worthless. That makes sense, Director Zhou. Many people nodded in deep thought. Why God's work was capable of setting the world ablaze, but continuity was no doubt one of the problems. The eye-catching aspect was inconsistent. CEO Wang, aren't you afraid that others will be disillusioned if word about this gets out? Song Qian could not help but ask. Wang Yuan frowned slightly. This ban directive is from the TV station 1. We are responding to the organization's orders. What's there to be disillusioned about? CEO Wang, Why God's talent is not limited to that. If we do this, it's equivalent to breaking off relations. We must think twice, Song Qian persuaded. Although the conversation with Yi Lingchen was short, he felt very confident. The live stream was banned but Why God's reaction was insanely calm. That reaction, in addition to Why God's strong mentality, pointed out something far more important, his extreme self-confidence. It was a kind of self-confidence that could be ignited wherever and whenever he wanted. Song Qian, are you done talking? Wang Yuan's eyes became cold and he said with displeasure, you're also a veteran of Huyu. When did you let your emotions affect your decision? What relationship does Why God have with you that makes it worth your while to take his side? Today's meeting ends here. There won't be any changes to the plan. Adjourn. After classes ended that day, Yi Lingchen walked back to Hill Spring Residences. Just as he reached the entrance to the residence, his footsteps halted and his expression changed drastically. He inhaled sharply and he turned to escape. Yi Lingchen, you really live here? Huang Xiaomeng could not help but blurt out. She took a stride forward and blocked Yi Lingchen from the front. Her big eyes stared straight at Yi Lingchen and she was prepared to shame him to death. Alas, her plans failed. Yi Lingchen quickly adjusted his mindset and spoke as usual, is something the matter? Oh, pretend. Just continue pretending. Huang Xiaomeng's eyes narrowed into a slit. Now tell me, which parts of our body have you peeked on? Which parts? The question was a bit tough and he wondered where he should start. Li Mushui was blushing. She hung her head low and did not dare to look at Yi Lingchen. I don't know what you're talking about. Yi Lingchen feigned stupidity and would not admit anything even if it cost him his life. TCH, you've already seen Sister Mushui. The angry Huang Xiaomeng pointed at Yi Lingchen and growled, you have to explain yourself today. He had no idea how long Huang Xiaomeng waited for him. Her attitude suggested she was not about to give up. Yi Lingchen had a headache and smiled bitterly. What do you want? Huang Xiaomeng proudly raised her head. It was obvious that she had planned everything in advance. She then remarked, "How about this? You'll be responsible for being our bodyguard this evening." Yi Lingchen froze for a moment. "Bodyguard? Yep, you fight well, so it should be enough to protect us." Huang Xiaomeng nodded. Yi Lingchen looked at Huang Xiaomeng suspiciously. "What are you going to do?" "No time for chit-chat, you'll know when you get there." Huang Xiaomeng huffed. "Tell me, are you going to do it or not?" Yi Lingchen thought for a while. He felt that he was in the wrong, so he nodded and agreed. "Okay, then wait here for us, we'll be back in a bit." Huang Xiaomeng looked incredibly excited. She pulled Li Mushui and the two girls ran back into the residential area. "Xiaomeng, you waited half a day just to ask Yi Lingchen to be our bodyguard?" Li Mushui also looked at Huang Xiaomeng in surprise. She thought Huang Xiaomeng was out to get Yi Lingchen's life. He, we won't just let him off like that. When we get there, I'll kill him," Huang Xiaomeng said furiously. "Oh yeah, where are we going tonight? It's a very fun place, but it's a bit messy there. You shouldn't walk around carelessly." Huang Xiaomeng's eyes shined and she was looking forward to it. Without letting Yi Lingchen wait too long, a red Ferrari sped out of the residential area and stopped in front of Yi Lingchen. "Get in the car," Huang Xiaomeng shouted at Yi Lingchen. To Yi Lingchen's surprise, Huang Xiaomeng drove at lightning-fast speed throughout the journey. Like a roaring red beast on the road, she headed straight for capital suburbs. "Where are we going?" Yi Lingchen asked during the drive. "Mount Fulong," Huang Xiaomeng said. "Mount Fulong?" Yi Lingchen frowned slightly. The name was familiar to him and he heard the name. Mount Fulong used to be a tourist attraction in capital, but few tourists went there because it was not very famous. Eventually, it became a barren mountain with a scant few admirers. Moreover, he heard that it became a hotspot for crime because it was too remote. It was a frequent haunt of gangsters, and setting up fights was a common occurrence. That little girl was a problem girl and her issues were far from insignificant. The road gradually became rugged, and there were potholes resulting from years and years of disrepair. A quick scan of the area revealed an absence of buildings in the vicinity. It was rather deserted. The outline of a mountain soon emerged in the distance not too far ahead. The mountain was not really high, but the mountain range was continuous. From the distance, it looked like a dragon lying on the ground, and the name Mount Fulong originated from that resemblance. There was only barren soil and weeds near the foot of the mountain. Even the roads were gone. Huang Xiaomeng turned the wheel and circled to the back of the mountain. She seemed to be very familiar with the place when she navigated through a little road that was only as wide as a car. After a drive of about 500 meters, it was suddenly very bright. Turns out, there was a huge plaza. All kinds of vehicles were parked there, with each car of differing grades. They ranged from the cheapest Alto to top-class, world-famous sports cars. Looking at the direction of the plaza, a small walkway led directly into the mountain. A vermilion lacquer gate guarded the entrance. It was very heavy and measured about half a meter wide. Sculptures of various beasts were erected on either side, baring their fangs and striking fear into one's heart. Countless men and women gathered in the plaza. Their hairstyles were similar to Huang Xiaomeng in that they were dyed various colors. They were all dressed in non-mainstream styles and seemed to have an arrogant as well as irascible nature. Needless to say, it was a sketchy area. Li Mushui was slightly apprehensive. She pulled Huang Xiaomeng to one side and asked softly, "Xiaomeng, what the hell is this place? What are we doing here?" "Oh, don't worry, Sister Mushui. I've been here a few times before, it's very exciting," Huang Xiaomeng exclaimed. "We have Yi Lingchen as our bodyguard. It'll be fine, he's so strong." She then looked at Yi Lingchen with a lofty expression. "Hey, you have to back us up, okay? If something happens, you'll have to protect us weak women like the strong man you are, do you understand?" Yi Lingchen nodded silently. The three of them walked along the walkway toward the mountain. As they approached, a murderous aura began to appear. It was impossible for a person to feel undaunted by it. Faint rumbling noises could be heard from inside, like arguments and maniacal laughter. It was a hodgepodge of sorts and was unbelievably chaotic. Once they entered, the scene changed again. It was a boiling cauldron of voices. Many different people were there, but the majority were strong men. Most of them had fierce faces and their eyes were like wolves. Other than that, countless beautifully dressed, voluptuous women stood out from the crowd. They wore thin red dresses which only covered half of their bodies. From time to time, They giggled flirtatiously and made philandering glances at everyone. In stark contrast with the ordinary urban world, it was like they entered another realm filled with animalism and chaos. Yi Lingchen frowned slightly. The place was even messier than he had imagined. He glanced and discovered that the hall was huge, much bigger than Huaqing University's gymnasium, but the second floor seemed less disorganized compared to the chaotic first floor. The hall was circular, and the second floor was a platform that surrounded the hall. Those sitting there were no doubt rich and wealthy. Some wore suits and were followed by bodyguards, giving off an accomplished vibe. Some were slightly fatter, with greasy faces and dressed like a rich boss. Others were old men, gray-haired but still brimming with energy. In the middle of the hall was an open space with a huge iron cage. The iron cage was completely enclosed and its contents were unknown. Such splurging! Someone must have hollowed out the entire Mount Fulong just to build that hidden place. From the looks of the situation, there was some kind of gambling going on there. Yi Lingchen was already lamenting to himself. There were plenty of people who looked over with gazes that were rather hard to describe. They were a trio of one man and two women. In particular, Li Mushui's beauty was too captivating while Huang Xiaomeng's boobies were also a highlight. "Hey there, this is the first time the three of you visited the dogfighting arena? Would you like me to introduce it to you?" Someone immediately went forward and greeted them. He smiled, but most of his attention fell on Li Mushui. "FCK off, I've been coming here since I was 8 years old." Huang Xiaomeng shot back rudely. She did not even look at the man as she walked to the counter beside the wall. At the counter was a voluptuous woman, who apparently knew Huang Xiaomeng. After greeting Huang Xiaomeng, the woman took out 3 pamphlets and handed one to each of them. Yi Lingchen opened the booklet, and the first thing he saw was the 3 words, "Dogfighting Arena." The dogfighting arena, as the name implied, was a place for dogfighting. On the back of the pamphlet were the arena's rules. Altercations, filming, and weapons were not allowed here. Dogfights start at 8 o'clock every day. 2 dogs would be released to fight in every round. The crowd would then place bets on those 2 dogs. Any dog that collapsed for more than 10 seconds was the loser. It was an alternative form of gambling. After that, there was an introduction of dogfighting arena's various famous dogs. Bull terriers are of British origin. This breed is a cross between a bulldog and the extinct black and tan terrier. Canary Mastiff, Chinese Tibetan Mastiff, Brazilian Mastiff. Every one of those breeds was known to be fierce and aggressive. Dogfighting? That's cruel. Li Mushui frowned severely and hid in fear between Yi Lingchen and Huang Xiaomeng. "You'll get used to it after a few more visits." Huang Xiaomeng was nonchalant. These dogs grew up eating raw meat and live food. They have been trained since birth and have high combat effectiveness. It's more interesting than watching movies. "The dogfighting competition is about to begin. Open the cage." The MC held up a microphone and said aloud. As soon as his words were heard, a roar came from the huge cage in the middle. A clicking sound was heard, followed by the completely sealed enclosure being put away. In place of it was an iron net on all 4 sides. Woof, woof, woof. Roar. There were many small cages around the big cage, each of which contained a fighting dog. The roaring sounds they made were truly frightening. The dogs within those cages were of extremely huge proportions. Each animal was almost half as tall as a human. Their sound was as deep as Hongzhong and every single one was terrifying. "Look at that one-eyed one, that's the previous edition's Dog King. And that one? Looks so strong, it's at least 80 kilograms, simply amazing. FCK, that Chinese Tibetan Mastiff, so powerful. I think that one has high chances. Look at how strong and sturdy its feet are." In the blink of an eye, gasps of surprise came one after another. Everyone's eyes lit up, eager to give it a try. Everyone should know the rules of the game, so I won't elaborate. If someone breaks the rules out of ill will, I guarantee that he will disappear the next day. The MC said that as though it was something trivial, then continued, "Each game is electronically matched to ensure absolute fairness. Everyone will be given another 5 minutes to appraise the strengths of each dog. After those 5 minutes, the betting will begin." Oh, oh. Screams of excitement resounded throughout the hall. "Xiaomeng, you're not thinking of betting, are you?" Li Mushui could not help but ask. "Since we're here, can we not try it?" Huang Xiaomeng smiled slightly before whispering in Li Mushui's ear. "Relax, I've got a good eye. It's a sure win if you bet according to mine." After saying that, she squinted at Yi Lingchen and said, "How about it? Are you going to try? You shouldn't be scared if you're a man?" Yi Lingchen did not respond. He looked at the iron cage with a strange expression on his face. Due to his proficiency in dog language, the dog's barks sounded completely different to his ears. Here we go again. Why do these humans have such a strange hobby? Yeah, they like watching us fight. They're even excited about it, idiots. I've got a wee bit of diarrhea today. If any of you face me, please don't be too vicious. Little May, you're so beautiful. Have a baby dog with me. FCKU. Little May belongs to me. How dare you try and seduce her away from me? You'd better say your prayers. If you face me, I'll beat the sh*t out of you. FCK. He would not have known all that if he did not learn dog language, but having already learned it, he never imagined a dog's world to be so interesting. Hey, Yi Lingchen. Are you listening to me? Aren't you going to gamble? Huang Xiaomeng urged Yi Lingchen when she noticed him ignoring her. Alright. Yi Lingchen had some ideas and nodded. He, just listen to me when the time comes. I guarantee you'll make a lot of money. Huang Xiaomeng's big eyes stared at Yi Lingchen and she had a harmless smile on her face. In fact, she was ready to con the sh*t out of Yi Lingchen. Xiaomeng, I haven't seen you for a long time. A young boy with similarly colored yellow hair came over. In his arms was a woman with long blue hair. Her foundation and eyeliner were incredibly thick. My hands were feeling a bit restless, so I came to play, Huang Xiaomeng said casually and continued, Leopard, why is it only the two of you? Where's the others? They're over there, studying the breed of dogs that they have this time and planning how to make their bets, Leopard said with a smile. His gaze gave off disdainful energy as he looked at Yi Lingchen. Why didn't you come here with Brother Chu today? It's dangerous for two girls to be at such a place. He could not control his gaze from lingering momentarily on Li Mushui. A stunning woman like her made for an easy target. We have a bodyguard now, don't we? Huang Xiaomeng looked at Yi Lingchen. Him? Leopard shook his head condescendingly. Xiaomeng, your luckiest bros came over today too. You wouldn't need to worry about anyone else bullying you two girls. His insinuation was obvious. Yi Lingchen was unreliable. As they were talking, another group of people came. It comprised of 3 men and 2 women who donned a similar style of clothing and sported similar hairstyles. With all of them gathered together, it looked almost like cosplay. They all had a strong aura of adolescent rebellion and cool expressions. They gave off a kind of energy that seemed to suggest they had the whole world in the palm of their hands. Xiaomeng, how did you find the time to come and play today? Yo, you even brought 2 new friends. One of them said with a smile. He eyed Li Mushui, and said naughtily, hurry up and introduce them. Enough. All of you, Sister Mushui isn't someone you can hit on, FCK off. Huang Xiaomeng hugged Li Mushui and huffed. The others turned to the ever-quiet Yi Lingchen, and you are. His name is Yi Lingchen. He's our bodyguard today. Huang Xiaomeng said before introducing the group one by one. This guy's nickname is Eagle, the son of Jianhua Group. This is Snake, the young master of Huayu Company, and this. Every person had their own nickname, which was all based on very fierce animals. Perhaps they regarded that as something cool. Besides, they were all young masters living around capital city. They were worth at least tens of millions or even hundreds of millions, and they loved to seek excitement since they had too much time on their hands. Yi Lingchen, if you serve any one of us here, you can get much more from us than from the moneybags behind you. Huang Xiaomeng suddenly uttered that to Yi Lingchen after making the introductions. Yi Lingchen's expression sunk. The hell does that mean, lunatic? The group soon huddled together and erupted with liveliness. They talked and laughed, with their discussion centering around dogfighting. An exchange of views then followed. It's rare to see the Chinese Tibetan Mastiff enter the arena. Its combat strength is worthy of its reputation. Xiaomeng, you didn't manage to see it, but the last edition's Dog King was incredibly fierce. It chased the other dogs just to fight them, winning 3 games in a row. I specially made a name list for their combat effectiveness. When it's time for the game, just bet according to my list, and you'll get it right. Huang Xiaomeng glanced at Yi Lingchen before waving to the group. The group of people gradually moved away while pretending to continue their discussion. Xiaomeng, what's your purpose for calling us over? I want you to help me con someone. Huang Xiaomeng gritted her teeth and said, it's that Yi Lingchen. No problem. I love conning people. What did he do to offend you? Everyone eagerly questioned. That's none of your concern. Huang Xiaomeng waved her hand and said, when the game starts, we'll specifically recommend losing dogs to him. I want him to lose everything, even his underwear. Easy peasy. He's a newcomer. Who else are we gonna dupe if it isn't him? Ha ha ha, you came to the right person. My nickname is Pro Conman. Chill. Apart from them, everyone there was in the midst of a discussion as well, except for Yi Lingchen and Li Mushui. Yi Lingchen saw through the innate qualities of those fighting dogs in just a short while. It could not be helped, as he knew how to speak dog language. Li Mushui never once thought of participating in a gamble. The environment made her a little uncomfortable. She glanced at Yi Lingchen beside her and tugged softly at his clothes. In a small voice, she said, whatever you saw last time, it's not what you think. I assure you, I didn't see anything, Yi Lingchen immediately answered in all seriousness. Li Mushui's ears were all red. I'm not talking about that. I mean, my sexual orientation is normal. It's just that. Xiaomeng dragged me into it. You were forced? Yi Lingchen inhaled sharply. It was a crazy world. No, Li Mushui nearly choked on her saliva. Embarrassed, she explained, Xiaomeng. She kinda likes me and loves to try fresh and exciting things. She begged me many times and after that, we just tried it. Yi Lingchen nodded without expressing the reservations he had in his heart. Haha, pardon me, but I've seen it 3 times. That's a bit too frequent to be considered just trying out. Could it be that? You got addicted after a few tries. It was then that Huang Xiaomeng and the others came over after making some covert plans. They looked at Yi Lingchen's eyes and he felt that something was off. Everyone, the dogfight is about to start, please prepare yourselves. The MC began to speak. His voice roused the crowd when he announced loudly, next up, please look at the electronic screen. What kind of matchup will the first fight be? Stay tuned and keep your eyes peeled. As soon as he finished his sentence, a large black screen lit up suddenly at the top. Red words began appearing. They were the names of all the dogs. The names flickered quickly and finally stopped when a ding sound appeared. Little White vs Little Black. Immediately, the cages holding Little White and Little Black were pushed forward slowly. This game will be an interesting one. The pit bull may be small, but it has strong muscles, a strong bite, and a long-lasting endurance. It can kill 2 shepherd dogs in 3 minutes. As for the Tosa, they're known as devils and are a banned breed. FCK man, so explosive right at the beginning. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I wonder who will win. This is a real battle between giants. It'll be difficult to place your bet on this. Everyone felt a mixture of excitement and doubt. It was difficult to decide in that split second. Next up, it's time to place your bets. Whichever dog you're optimistic about, you can place your bets with one of our staff. Trust your judgment. The opportunity to get rich is in your hands. The MC lit up with pure magnetic charm. So, which one has a higher chance of winning? Huang Xiaomeng and others were already eager to discuss. Of course, they did it behind Yi Lingchen's back. Ha ha ha, this is a money-making game. As the others were still stressing over it, Leopard smiled and said with confidence. Huh? You can see it? Everyone looked over curiously. You don't necessarily have to see it. Leopard smiled casually and pointed to his head. His mannerisms implied that he was the sole sober one amongst the drunken lot. After satisfying his need for pretentiousness, he began to speak up. It's also about the brains. Stop all that mother F asterisk C king bullshit. Spit it out already. We're going to place our bets, someone urged. Little White will win this match, Leopard announced the answer immediately. Why? Do you remember the last dogfight and the one before that? Leopard questioned back instead of answering. How do you expect us to remember that? There are plenty of dogfights all the time. How can we remember all of that? Ha ha ha, sorry, I just remembered a part of it, and that part happened to be related to Little White and Little Black. Leopard felt as though he had reached his life's pinnacle at that time and was showing off. Little White and Big White fought once in the last fight and Little White lost. In the fight before that, Little Black and Big White fought once. Little Black won. Who do you think will win this time? It gotta be Little Black. Not bad. Your logic is correct. Leopard posed in a promising manner. FCK then. What are we waiting for? Come on, everyone's face was red with excitement. Each person rolled up their sleeves one by one and geared up for a big fight. How much are you going to bet? We don't always have a money-making match like this. What is there to think about? 400,000, all in. You had the same thought as me, 3,500,000, all in. In that case, all in, Huang Xiaomeng gritted her teeth. She went all in with 500,000 she had on her. Leopard, if you dare to cheat me on this, you'll die. Although they were all rich kids, they only managed to save up that much pocket money. Chill. This is a sure win, Leopard thumped his chest loudly. At the same time, everyone watched as Little White and Little Black barked at each other within the cage. They looked fierce and ready to go. Sitting in silence, Yi Lingchen played the role of the two canines' faithful listeners. Little White. FCK dog. How did I end up with you, Brother Black? Spare me, dog. Please spare me, go easy on me. Little Black. I'm the one who should be begging you, Mother *CKER. Some B** starred gave me a shot of God knows what before I came on. Now my entire body is numb and I've got no energy. Little White. OFCK. Is this for real? You ain't trying to frame me? Little Black. Why should I lie to you? Little White. Muahahaha, God Almighty is good. I can finally get my revenge. Little Blackie, just you wait for me to torture you. After Huang Xiaomeng made her bet, she rolled her eyes and walked over to Yi Lingchen. How about it? Did you think about which one you'll bet on to win? Yi Lingchen shook his head and asked deliberately. Maybe. You can give me a suggestion? He could see through everything clearly and knew Huang Xiaomeng's psyche like the back of his hand. Bet on Little White to win. Huang Xiaomeng looked at Yi Lingchen and asserted solemnly. She then sported a mysterious look and said, I have inside information. Little White is very strong and has never lost before. Trust me. Oh, is that so? Yi Lingchen found it rather amusing but pretended to be clueless on the surface. Okay, then I'll bet on Little White to win. Hey, bro, how much money are you gonna bet? Don't just bet 180 yuan. That's embarrassing. The minimum here is 5,000. Yeah, buddy, you came with Xiaomeng, so you gotta maintain the status quo. None of our bets are below 100,000. I think so too. Men should have more balls. Look at me, I'm a woman, but I'm going all in. Huang Xiaomeng's group immediately began making comments. It was an obvious attempt to goad him. Okay then, I'll bet 600,000. Yi Lingchen said with a smile. The words, honest boy, was practically written all over his face. A scheming smile first flashed over Huang Xiaomeng's face, followed by an expression of shock. She pointed to Yi Lingchen and was almost lost for words. You're betting 600,000? The rest were shocked. Even people like them could only take out about RMB 200,000 to RMB 300,000 at once. But that poor CCK could fork out RMB 600,000? Who were the rich kids there? Why do you have so much money? Li Mushui was also stunned. It was not RMB 600,000 in assets, but RMB 600,000 in direct cash. I earned all of it myself, Yi Lingchen said calmly. I didn't expect you to make so much money with that business. It's good to have capital. It's really easy and profitable. Huang Xiaomeng could not help muttering. Yi Lingchen, wait up before betting. Li Mushui interjected and quickly pulled Huang Xiaomeng to the side. Xiaomeng, didn't you bet on Little Black? How could you let Yi Lingchen bet on Little White? Sister Mushui, he peeped at us. My name isn't Huang Xiaomeng if I don't give him some trouble, Huang Xiaomeng asserted. But, this is too cruel. This is 600,000. So, what? Don't forget he's just a gigolo. His money was rewarded to him by other rich women. If it's gone, it's gone. It isn't easy for him to work in that kind of job. I heard that some rich women are quirky. Aren't we going too far with this? Sister Mushui, why are you so worried about him? Don't tell me you have feelings for him? Huang Xiaomeng could not help but feel suspicious. No, I just think this is too much. Li Mushui quickly shook his head and denied. By the time the two returned, Yi Lingchen had already finished making his bet. Everyone smiled when they saw Yi Lingchen grinning. This dump *CK doesn't know he's been conned. He might still think he has a chance of winning. Wait till he loses his underwear later. Such a pity, betting time is over, coming up. The match begins. With the host's orders, the cages containing Little White and Little Black rose slowly. The audience went silent. Everyone watched nervously and the atmosphere was extremely tense. Woof, woof, woof. After a few barks, The two dogs charged forward and bit each other. Come on, FCK him up. Oh, awesome, that's the sh*t. Don't make me lose, bite him, bite him. I placed all my money on you. One step at a time, come on, get him. After the silence came a racket. Everyone was shouting in excitement. As the fight progressed, the smiles on Huang Xiaomeng and the others' faces gradually disappeared. Their confidence turned to worry. FCK? What's going on? Why is Little Black suddenly weak? Leopard was stunned. Cold sweat began to appear on his forehead and he exclaimed in disbelief. Little Black's performance was still rather fine at the beginning. The two dogs sparred with each other, but gradually, his movements became duller and his strength was much weaker. He did not cause much damage when biting down on Little White. Little Black, don't fall. Hang in there for me. If you lose, I'll be eating soil for the entire month, Snake wailed. OFCK, it's over, it's all over. If I lose, I can't explain it to my mother. He's just pretending to be weak in front of his opponent, that's what Little Black is doing, he'll fight back. The expressions on Huang Xiaomeng and Ko's face became heavier and heavier. All they felt was dryness in their mouth and throat. They had a feeling that things were going south. Was that the so-called Mother F***C King money-making match? More like a con. Howl. Along with a reluctant howl, Little Black collapsed. At the same time, Huang Xiaomeng and the gang's fragile little heart collapsed too. This, Huang Xiaomeng was on the verge of tears, unable to accept reality. She muttered in disbelief, I lost? I actually lost? Li Mushui looked sympathetically at Huang Xiaomeng, not knowing how to console her. Leopard and the rest were in a daze. Their lips trembled, unable to even make a sound. The woman that was enticing Yi Lingchen broke down into tears on the spot. Her cries were filled with absolute sadness, extremely pitiful. Leopard, you dog! How dare you trick us? The crowd immediately looked at him threateningly. Leopard had a horrible look on his face. This is not my fault. I lost all my money too. It must be the organizers intentionally arranging it. They must be using some underhanded methods behind the scenes. Hot damn. I won? At that moment of sadness, a dissonant voice cut across the air. All they saw was Yi Lingchen with an excited look on his face. Amazing, your inside information is surely accurate. I won. Thank you for helping me win this much money out of nowhere. As Huang Xiaomeng stared at Yi Lingchen's overjoyed face, her heart was shaking, blaming the heavens for being unfair. At the same time, an employee approached them. Young Master Yi Lingchen, here are your winnings, totaling RMB 1,200,000. You're welcome to continue gambling. Thank you. Yi Lingchen received the RMB 1,200,000 with a smile. The payout rate for dogfighting was 1-to-1. Yi Lingchen bet for RMB 600,000, so his payout was RMB 600,000. If he lost, then all that would be gone. Yi Lingchen embraced his inner drama king. He looked at Huang Xiaomeng and the rest in feigned surprise. Didn't you guys bet too? Why didn't you win anything? Huang Xiaomeng's face almost turned purple, pushed to the point of tears. She said through gritted teeth, we bet on Little Black. What? Yi Lingchen was flabbergasted, then said in a touched voice, you're so nice to me. You had me place my bet on Little White while you placed your bet on Little Black. You're just letting me win intentionally. Huang Xiaomeng could feel that pent-up frustration stuck within her chest, almost suffocating herself. The others were going through the same thing. They all looked at Yi Lingchen, very much tempted to give him a good beating as their hearts were bleeding. That was their entire savings. At first, they thought they could make a killing, but who would have thought that they would lose it all? Instead, Yi Lingchen had won a huge sum out of nowhere. His luck was truly amazing. To think that they treated him like some idiot, in the end, they were the idiots. Yi Lingchen, I recommended you to bet on Little White. Now that you've won so much money, you should give me some commission, right? Huang Xiaomeng asked Yi Lingchen pitifully as she was penniless at the moment. She stared at the pile of cash beside Yi Lingchen, drooling at the amount. That's true, Yi Lingchen nodded profoundly. He did not take any money from that pile of cash but instead started searching in his pockets. After some time, he finally fished out a crumpled up RMB 20 note and passed it to Huang Xiaomeng. Here, keep it. Huang Xiaomeng stared at the RMB 20 with a dumbfounded look. Her own transportation cost to bring him here was already more than the RMB 20. Was he sending her away as he would a beggar? Don't be shy. Keep it, Yi Lingchen added, stuffing the RMB 20 note into the dazed Huang Xiaomeng's hand, speaking in a generous tone. Please don't think it's too much, it's what you should get. How can you even do such a shameless thing? Humiliation. This is a direct and plain humiliation. The first round is done. Next will be the second round that everyone was anticipating for, the MC's voice announced. Let's have a look at which two dogs would be taking part in the next fight. On the big screen, the names started to rotate quickly. Finally, it was Black Fur and White Fur. Immediately, the cages holding the two dogs were slowly pushed forward. Black Fur and White Fur's size were not as big as Little White and Little Black from the last round. However, they were famous for their strength. Naturally violent, fierce, quick, and aggressive. They too were barking at each other, baring their fangs. Black Fur, hey, you won't forget about the bone you owe me from this morning, right? White Fur, relax, I'm a good dog that returns its favor, I won't forget. Black Fur, good, then let me win this match. White Fur, no problem. However, the humans won't be happy if we don't fight. Let's just put on a show and make it look serious. Yi Lingchen, which one do you plan to bet on? Huang Xiaomeng asked. Both the dogs had decent fighting strength, being more or less the same. It was really difficult to tell which one would be stronger. My luck today is quite good. I'll bet everything on Black Fur. What do you think? Yi Lingchen asked. Sure. Huang Xiaomeng immediately nodded. Your fortune is great. Don't miss this chance. Place everything on it. Bro, don't hesitate. The rest were also fanning the flames, eager to have Yi Lingchen place everything on the line. From their perspective, Yi Lingchen had tasted some benefits and got addicted to gambling. There was the saying where 9 out of 10 gambles result in a loss. They refused to believe that a rookie like Yi Lingchen would continue to win. Seeing Yi Lingchen winning, they were already jealous to start with. They naturally wanted him to lose everything. They had to convince him to continue gambling no matter what. Alright, Yi Lingchen was excited, since you guys say so, I'll place my bets. He immediately signaled for an employee and placed all RMB 1,200,000 on Black Fur. Brother Yi, you're so cool, Brother Yi, you're so generous, I'm impressed. Leopard was respectful on the surface, yet within his heart, he sneered and was waiting to see Yi Lingchen's expression when he lost everything. End of betting phase. Next, let the dogs out, clank. The cages opened slowly. Black Fur and White Fur roared at each other, then darted outwards, biting at each other. The crowd immediately broke into cheers. Get him, you must win. Bite it, I've bet all my assets on you, go, go, go. Huang Xiaomeng and the rest were also watching the match with rapt attention. Their palms were sweating, growing even more anxious than Yi Lingchen. Although they did not place any bets, Yi Lingchen did. Yi Lingchen bet on Black Fur, which meant, White Fur, you must do your best, you must win. The fight between both dogs turned heated. They exchanged bites and went all out. The cheers from the crowd never stopped and all their faces were flushed red from the excitement. Finally, Black Fur's paw raised up high and swung down hard on White Fur's face. That slap seemed to have stunned White Fur, leaving it dazed on the spot. The next moment, it was given a thorough beating by Black Fur. Huang Xiaomeng's eyes narrowed. That, Black Fur won? FCK, that kid won again? Leopard was stunned. He looked at Yi Lingchen with bloodshot eyes. This time his RMB 1,200,000 just turned into RMB 2,400,000. The others were also hyperventilating, their chest heaving as they took deep breaths. Damn it, I'm so jealous. Watching helplessly at the side as Yi Lingchen made another big score made Huang Xiaomeng and the rest feel a sharp pain in their hearts. Once they thought about how they lost everything, that pain grew and it almost made them cry in silence. This rookie was just too lucky. Yi Lingchen, don't stop, go for the third round. You must ride on the flow of victory, Huang Xiaomeng said in a hoarse voice through gritted teeth. That's right, Brother Yi, keep going, Brother Yi, you're amazing. You'll win the next round for sure. Leopard and the gang continued to persuade him while the growing jealousy within distorted their faces. Lose, he must lose everything. RMB 2,400,000 was considered a big sum even for them. Next, the third round of dogfighting will begin soon. Along with the MC's announcement, the names on the big screen finally settled on Little May and Gold Fur. Little May vs Gold Fur. As the two cages were pushed to the front, not only were the humans cheering, Even the dogs in the dogfighting arena turned rowdy. Woof woof woof. The barks were not stopping, seemingly even more excited than the humans. Gold Fur, if you dare touch a hair on Little May, I'll beat you to a pulp. Gold Fur, just admit defeat or you'll suffer a horrible death. Ruar, Gold Fur, don't you dare bully Little May or your AB*TCH. Do your best Little May, murder Gold Fur, we'll support you. Yi Lingchen stole a few more glances at Little May. She was a Central Asian shepherd dog with a white fur coat. Appearance-wise she was similar to most dogs with just a slightly bigger body and better muscle tone. When compared to other fighting dogs, this type of dog looked way better. In the eyes of the fighting dogs, it was definitely at the level of Helen of Troy. No wonder it was so popular amongst the dogs. It's those two dogs. Leopard sucked in a deep breath, his eyes glowing. He stealthily stole a glance at Yi Lingchen, then immediately pulled Huang Xiaomeng and the rest aside. Xiaomeng, have Yi Lingchen bet on Little May. He'll definitely lose everything, Leopard said maliciously. Why? Huang Xiaomeng asked out of curiosity. Leopard, are you sure? Snake asked skeptically. Little May's appearance may not seem fierce, but it's a Central Asian shepherd dog. Its overall ability is strong, considered the Lord of the Plains. Although Gold Fur looks strong, it might not be a match for Little May. Hee, of course, I know, but that's not all. Leopard started putting on airs and put on a big thoughtful grin. I've been paying close attention to each fighting dog today. Little May's condition is lackluster. Its focus is a little off. I think there's a high chance that it's sick. Is that true? They were taken aback, then started scrutinizing Little May. It was fine when Leopard did not warn them. Now that Leopard had mentioned it, they noticed something was off. Little May's gaze was unfocused. Even its howls sounded weak and drained. FCK. If we haven't lost it all, this will be a money-making match, someone exclaimed in frustration. Sigh, what a pity. Huang Xiaomeng's eyes were bright. She immediately walked up to Yi Lingchen's side and urgently notified him. Yi Lingchen, I've got some inside news. Little May will win for sure. Are you sure? Of course I'm sure. I guarantee that's an inside tip. Quickly place your bet. Huang Xiaomeng almost wanted to place the bet for Yi Lingchen. Little May it is. Since we're pals, I'll treat you well if I win this. Right then, Little May and Gold Fur began conversing with each other on the stage. Gold Fur, Little May, why don't we put on an act as well? I'll let you win. Little May, I can't do it. I can't fight. Gold Fur, what's wrong? Little May, I think I'm pregnant. Gold Fur, what? Is it mine? Little May, I don't know. There's a slight chance. Those words opened a can of worms. All the dogs in the dogfighting arena once again burst out howling. Gold Fur, surrender now. Immediately, Gold Fur, just bite yourself, don't force Little May to act. It must be my seed, Little May, you must take care of the baby. Dog's HT. It's mine. Yi Lingchen gave Huang Xiaomeng a carefree smile. Sure. I'll place everything on Little May. Thank you for your insider tip. You're welcome. It's my pleasure, Huang Xiaomeng replied. Seeing Yi Lingchen placing all his bets on Little May, the rest of them were flushed with excitement, almost laughing out loud on the spot. Fortunately, they managed to hold it in with great effort. At that moment, they looked at Yi Lingchen as though he was an idiot. Wahahaja, RMB 2,400,000 will be gone soon. Get ready to cry in despair. Why do I feel that you guys are more excited than me? Yi Lingchen asked out of the blue. Brother Yi, you're about to win the bet. We're just happy for you. Yi Lingchen immediately put on an expression of gratitude. You're such nice people. Even after losing everything you still try to help me win. When I win this, I'll give you another RMB 20. Huang Xiaomeng was speechless. You still want to win? Dream on? Finally, the match began. Everyone's heart was pumping as the cage was slowly raised, focusing their gaze on the arena. Unlike the other dogs, Little May and Gold Fur did not rush out and attack each other. Instead, they were extremely quiet. Both dogs were measuring up each other. Out of a sudden, Gold Fur flipped over to the side and just lay down on the ground, resulting in an arena full of dumbstruck audience. Thud! That sound pounded heavily on their hearts, further dazing the already dumbstruck audience. Gold Fur laid perfectly still on the floor. Absolute silence. FFFFCK. What? What's going on? What is that? Surrender? Giving up? Unexpectedly, the match had ended before it even began. Huang Xiaomeng was stunned. Leopard was stunned. Everyone in the arena was stunned. It was then followed by an uproar. Treachery. There's treachery involved. That's dogfighting. What joke is this? Wahahaha, I won, la la la. This match doesn't count. My money, bring me that dog, I'm going to butcher it for dinner. Faced with countless suspicions from the audience, the organizers immediately took action. Their employees quickly went up to investigate the situation. The result was that little Mei was pregnant, hence the opponent had surrendered. Due to the lack of any signs of treachery, the match result was still effective. Pregnant? This is just too FC King nonsensical. Huang Xiaomeng felt that her worldview had been shaken. Yi Lingchen won again? RMB 2,400,000 just flipped into RMB 4,800,000. Leopard and the rest were staring their eyes out. For him to run into such a situation, this fella's luck is too FC King unbelievable. Yi Lingchen delightfully received the money from the employees, then looked at Huang Xiaomeng with a charming smile on his face. Oh Xiaomeng, I can't thank you enough. Your insider tip is really accurate. Here's another RMB 20, you must take it. Huang Xiaomeng went speechless. He won, he actually won again. Watching as Yi Lingchen repeatedly win, Huang Xiaomeng's eyes were green with jealousy. Leopard and the rest were even getting a boner from that sensation. They felt their faces burning. That was RMB 4,800,000. They were just the average rich kids with some tens of millions of assets at home. It was impossible for them to make RMB 4,800,000 in such a short time. What was originally a loser in their eyes had just transformed himself into a rich man in merely 3 rounds of dogfighting. How can a loser like this be considered an equal among us rich kids? Was that something they could tolerate? Of course not. Immediately they were putting on a celebratory mood for Yi Lingchen while trying to persuade him to continue gambling away. Yi Lingchen acted the role of the naive person and continued to place his bets, going all in at every attempt. What followed was, 4th round, RMB 4,800,000 turned into RMB 9,600,000. 5th round, RMB 9,600,000 turned into RMB 19,200,000. 6th round, RMB 19,200,000 turned into RMB 38,400,000. The dogfighting arena would only run 6 matches every time. That was the end of that day's matches. In all the 6th matches, Yi Lingchen convincingly won all of them. Huang Xiaomeng and the rest were all stunned. They watched helplessly as Yi Lingchen won round after round. The mixture of shock and agony crushed their worldview, pushing them to the brink of a breakdown. Absolutely terrifying. That luck of his was like a cheat. Their gaze on Yi Lingchen had changed. What a monster. This guy. He's not an average loser. Yi Lingchen, are you sure you knew nothing about dogfighting? Huang Xiaomeng asked with a dazed look on her face, her mouth wide agape. Her intuition suddenly nagged at her that Yi Lingchen was playing her all along, humiliating her intelligence. It's my first time. Then how did you win? It's because of your insider tips, isn't it? Huang Xiaomeng was speechless. That was RMB 38,400,000. Yi Lingchen was no longer just a gigolo, but a stinking rich gigolo. She suddenly regretted bringing Yi Lingchen to the dogfighting arena. He had reaped such a profit whereas Huang Xiaomeng and her gang lost everything. It was as though God was playing a joke on them. Yi Lingchen's commotions had naturally attracted the attention of some other people. 6 consecutive wins, and each of them all in. That type of play was unimaginable. If not for them witnessing it, they would have never believed it. Reckless. Lucky. That must be the favored child of the heavens. From RMB 600,000, it snowballed into RMB 38,400,000. He was destined to be the legend of the dogfighting arena. The organizer quietly took note of Yi Lingchen's appearance. The next time this person came over, they must place him under close scrutiny. If that went on, they would eventually be cleared out. Thank you all for helping me gain a small profit. Yi Lingchen thanked Huang Xiaomeng and the gang with a charming smile on his face. It resulted in an awkward silence. Their hearts were battered and hurt. They were afraid they would cry out the moment they opened their mouths. After exiting the dogfighting arena, they drove back towards capital city from Mount Fulong. By then it was already 9 p.m. with the darkness setting in. In that desolate mountain region, The car's headlight provided the only light source. Even the chirping of birds and crickets were rare. Vroom! Right at that moment, a black Hummer caught up to them from behind. Its engines were roaring, rushing straight at them. "We're being targeted." Huang Xiaomeng's face turned dark. It must be Yi Lingchen winning too much, and that caught someone's attention. Just as she prepared to slam the gas, two jeeps rushed out from the side of the road and drove towards them. Finally, with 3 cars blocking their path, they were forced to stop. Apart from the Yi Lingchen trio, Leopard and the rest were similarly pulled over. They felt wronged. Not only did they lose their money, now they had to deal with that kid's mess. Who did they piss off this time? Following that, 7 thugs with golf clubs got off the cars. They all had buzz cuts and their faces were broad, giving them fearsome appearances. Clank, clank, clank. A thug knocked on the car with his golf club, then demanded, "Get out of the car. Do you want me to drag you down myself?" They got out of the car one by one. Leopard had a bitter expression. He was bent over and on the verge of tears. "Brother, big brother, it's none of my business. I'm just coincidentally going with them. I've lost all my money today." "Lost it all? You think I'm stupid?" The thug sneered. "You're all together. Cough up all your winnings now?" Everyone instantly shifted their gaze onto Yi Lingchen. The thug's knife-like gaze locked onto Yi Lingchen, threatening him. "Kid, didn't you hear me? Cough up your money. Apart from his money, bring the rest back. They're all from wealthy families. We can ask for a ransom of RMB 5 million each. If we don't get the money by tomorrow, let them collect their corpses." A hoarse voice drifted out slowly from the Hummer. Following that, a middle-aged man wearing shades walked out with a walking stick. Accompanying him was a skinny man. His face looked sharp as a blade. Although he was skinny, he gave off the feeling of a sharp blade cutting across the air. Yi Lingchen could not help but check more closely. He was a decent expert. "Bro, Brother Dragon 1? Leopard stared at the man in shades. His voice started trembling as his expression turned into one of fear. "Brother Dragon, is this some sort of a misunderstanding?" When the others heard Brother Dragon, their faces turned dark as well, with a hint of despair reflected in their eyes. Brother Dragon was a businessman on the surface. However, his methods were cruel and he had countless hitmen working for him. The real businesses he carried out were illegal. He would do anything for money. One could describe him as someone who cared nothing about his own life. "Hee, there's no misunderstanding," Brother Dragon laughed out loud. "Recently the police are too active. I'm planning to leave the country tomorrow to hide it out. I'd advise you to quickly contact your family members. If I don't get RMB 5 million tomorrow, you're dead." Everyone's heart sank. Brother Dragon was trying to hit one final score before his escape. They had just delivered themselves straight to him. That was just unfortunate. "Don't even try to bargain with me and follow my orders. If my men were to act, your bodies will not be in one piece." Brother Long was a charismatic person and quick to take action. He immediately looked to Yi Lingchen and calmly proclaimed, "Give me all your money. I just want your money. I'll guarantee your safety with that." Brother Long's life was filled with troubles recently as well. The businesses he ran were all illegal, walking on a fine line all the while. His main source of illegal income was from human trafficking. At first, he had an organization that trafficked children. However, over a month ago, 2 of his traffickers were arrested by the police. Due to the huge number of human trafficking cases, it was immediately put on high priority by the police. They followed the trail and laid out traps trying to nab all the traffickers. He had to resort to escaping as he ran out of options. Now we have to go back to the source of Brother Dragon's current predicament. Who would have thought the 2 human traffickers were arrested because of a high schooler? That was the joke of a lifetime. Just thinking of the high schooler made Brother Dragon grit his teeth again. Unfortunately, the police were keeping a very close watch on him, allowing him no time to seek his vengeance. Otherwise, he could make sure that high schooler suffered a horrific death. Furthermore, he did not know that the high schooler was Yi Lingchen himself. Not knowing that his nemesis was standing there right in front of him, it was the very definition of irony. Brother Dragon's brows tightened, staring at the motionless Yi Lingchen. "Kid, are you stupid? Take out your money now," Brother Dragon shouted. Yi Lingchen remained calm, then replied casually, "Get lost." That reply flabbergasted everyone in the vicinity. Leopard and the rest looked at Yi Lingchen, their hearts pounding from shock. To be composed when faced with such a situation. Furthermore, he defied Brother Dragon in the face. That was just out of this world. What? Brother Dragon could not trust his ears. He never once felt his authority being questioned before. Even without his orders, one of his lackeys immediately approached Yi Lingchen with a golf club in his hand. It would seem that this guy is not afraid of death. Beep beep beep. Right at that moment, a ray of bright light cut across the darkness from the distance, followed by the honking sound of a motorcycle. A cool motorcycle appeared out of nowhere, rushing straight at them with the might of a tiger. The thugs quickly moved away. After the thugs backed off, the motorcyclist made a cool rear wheel slide before pulling to a halt. Brother Chu. It's Brother Chu. We're saved. Wah, Brother Chu is here. Leopard and the rest were delighted, quickly gathering around the motorcycle. Maniac Chu slowly got off the motorcycle, emitting a razor-sharp aura. He spoke slowly. Luckily I saw your WeChat moments and realized you were dogfighting. Otherwise, this would be quite bad. With your abilities, you should avoid this kind of establishment in the future. Brother Chu, where did you go recently? I've never seen you much, Leopard asked. I went to the Warriors department. Hot damn, the Warriors department. That's amazing. Brother Chu, you're already good at fighting. After coming out from the Warriors department should have made you stronger, right? I knew Brother Chu was no ordinary man. That's the Warriors department. How many people of the younger generations managed to get in? Brother Chu, does that mean that you're a martial artist now? They were all shocked by the revelation. At that moment, they felt more secure. With Brother Chu here, at least our safety is guaranteed. You can say that, Maniac Chu answered with a nod. After he joined the Warriors department, he was training like a madman. With his passion and a good foundation, he improved quickly and was finally accepted as a martial artist. Following that, his gaze fell upon Yi Lingchen, then slowly made his way to Yi Lingchen's side. You were once my goal, but you're no longer it, Maniac Chu said calmly with a profound sense of enlightenment. That's because I've broadened my vision. Meanwhile, you are but just a passerby in my life. Now, you are not a worthy opponent for me. He thought back of that figure that Fang Hong and Wu Yu mentioned. Maybe only a person of that caliber was worthy of being his goal. That was the true expert. However, it's because of you that I got to see the world outside. That's why I owe you a personal favor. Maniac Chu was lost in his own world. His eyes were glazed, talking to himself. I will rescue you today and consider that favor repaid. As expected of Brother Chu, you're amazing, Brother Chu, you're my idol for life, so cool. Brother Chu's bragging is still the same as ever. What a nostalgic flavor. I welcome Brother Chu's honorable return. Leopard and the rest were cheering Maniac Chu along, idolizing him. Brother Dragon and his lackeys were dumbstruck. Where did this kid come from? Disrespecting him and his crew outright. Was that kid the tough? Hey, just who are you trying to act all high and mighty? One of the thugs could not bear with it any longer. He raised his golf club and rushed up towards Maniac Chu with a murderous glare. You're too FC King insolent. With that, he swung hard at Maniac Chu. The wind rustled, cold and ruthless, causing everyone's heart to pound faster. HMPH, know your place, Maniac Chu showed a contemptuous smile. He raised his leg, striking last yet hitting first, kicking straight at the thug's abdomen. Bang! The force sent the thug flying off. He then lay on the ground, unable to get up. Following that, Maniac Chu narrowed his eyes and walked towards Brother Dragon. I'm a martial artist. I'm now officially placing you under arrest, surrender yourselves, don't force my hand, Maniac Chu announced with an arrogant tone along with a condescending aura. Brother Chu, you're amazing, Leopard and the rest started cheering again. Brother Dragon pushed the shades on his nose, remaining still as water. Martial artist? I'm going overseas soon, yet a puny martial artist like you is trying to tell me what to do? The skinny young man standing behind him moved forward slowly, then positioned himself in front of Brother Dragon. Maniac Chu's brows knitted together with a deadly gleam in his eyes. You won't give up until the last moment. It's about time to show you what true strength is about. With that, he lowered his body and swept his leg out like the wind. With a sweeping sideward kick, as though sweeping fallen leaves, he swept upwards in a crescent arc, aiming directly at the skinny man. His movement looked cool, clean, and crisp. Moreover, it carried a strong force. The skinny man stood on the spot, raising his right hand to intercept his kick. Bang! Both of their bodies trembled slightly. He blocked it? Maniac Chu's face turned serious. He spun his body in the air, launching his other leg like an agile snake, kicking straight at the skinny man's abdomen. At the same time, the skinny man's other hand formed a fist and attacked. Bang! Maniac Chu felt a strong force pushing at him, sending him flying backward. The skinny man's fists were hard as steel, carrying a sharp aura as though it could tear everything apart. After backing off, Maniac Chu finally stabilized himself. His entire leg felt numb from his heels. If not for him pushing himself to stand, he would have crashed directly on the ground. Even so, at that moment he could barely manage to keep himself upright. During my time as a hitman, I've killed my fair share of martial artists. The skinny man's voice was not loud, but it carried with it a chill that pierced their hearts. It was his killing intent. The next moment, his body suddenly shot forward in a burst of speed. His fist was quick as lightning, aiming directly at Maniac Chu. Maniac Chu similarly swung his fist to meet the attack. Both fists collided. Maniac Chu's arm twisted and was immediately dislocated while his body lifted off the ground, flying backward for a full 5 meters before landing heavily on the ground. Bang! Maniac Chu's body fell to the ground, and along with it Leopard and the gang's hopes. Their eyes widened and bodies trembled as they stared at the skinny man, feeling fear coursing through them. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Maniac Chu was someone with great strength that they looked up to. Furthermore, he had just joined the Warriors department and undergone over a month of training with them. They did not expect him to be so easily outmatched by the skinny man. Who would have thought that Brother Chu, who was still bragging a moment ago, would be incapacitated on the ground in just the blink of an eye? Anyone else want to fight back? The skinny man's voice was hoarse and carried a chill, causing them to unwittingly shiver as he spoke. Thud! Leopard quickly knelt on the ground, begging in fear, "Brother Dragon, please don't kill me. I'll give you anything." Brother Dragon nodded in satisfaction, then said, "Bring that braggart along as well. Have his family pay RMB 10 million for ransom." After that, he once again looked towards Yi Lingchen, asking him in a cold tone, "Are you going to remain stubborn? You've won a total of RMB 38,400,000. Between money and your life, which is more important? Think carefully about it." He stood there confidently, waiting for Yi Lingchen to pass him the money. The scene earlier should be sufficient for Yi Lingchen to be scared for life. However, the panicked reaction he anticipated did not happen. Yi Lingchen was still as collected as ever, calmly speaking, "I'll give you guys a chance. Go turn yourself in." Nani? All parties were dumbstruck. Good one. Maniac Chu turned his head over with great difficulty to look at Yi Lingchen's back as he lay on the ground and roared, "It was not a mistake for me to take you as my goal previously. Although you're no longer my match, your bravery alone is worthy of being my comrade. Good one." Meanwhile, Leopard and the rest had their mind blown. Yi Lingchen's words left them in a daze. In their worldview, such an ignorant person should never have existed. A hot-headed troublemaker. That was the second time Brother Dragon doubted his ears. His gaze towards Yi Lingchen turned cold and shook his head. Another young man that likes to brag. Bragging might feel good, but it won't end well. Go break his legs. With that, the thugs surrounded Yi Lingchen. They tapped the golf clubs in their hands, as though ready to swing it at Yi Lingchen at any moment. Just then, a faint breeze could be felt. It tossed up strands of Yi Lingchen's hair, creating a serious and suffocating atmosphere around him. Leopard and the rest stared at the stoic Yi Lingchen. A thought suddenly entered their mind. This is no ordinary person. "Duck." Yi Lingchen calmly spoke with a moderate voice. Li Mushui and Huang Xiaomeng were caught by surprise, then both of them ducked together. The next instant, Yi Lingchen made his move. His body flew in the air like a fish leaping through the Dragon's Gate 1, carrying with him a terrifying aura. He then followed by extending a single leg, sweeping it like a dragon's tail. That kick seemingly robbed the moon of its light, leaving a beautiful disc-shaped arc in the air. Bang, bang, bang. They only saw a blur in front of their eyes, followed by the thugs flying backward in various directions, scattering them everywhere. Teeth went flying and a shoe print was left on their faces. They crashed on the ground and were instantly knocked out. "OMG!" Leopard exclaimed loudly as he was flabbergasted, then unwittingly swallowed a mouthful of saliva. They exchanged glances and remained silent for quite some time. "That's a real expert," Brother Dragon frowned. His lips twitched and made a "tch" sound. The skinny man looked at Yi Lingchen with a sharp, cutting aura emanating from between his brows. He then walked up slowly towards Yi Lingchen. At that moment, the entire world around them quietened down. Everyone felt their hearts almost jump out of their chests, every heartbeat audible. Leopard and the gang's face turned ashen under such a tense atmosphere. Their teeth chattered like crazy and their blood felt as though it were beginning to freeze. He was anxious. That was too exhilarating. It was scarier than any horror film. Was that the scent of death? Maniac Chu lay helplessly on the ground. He wanted to stand up and fight beside Yi Lingchen badly. In his mind, Yi Lingchen was not a match for that skinny man. If he was outmatched, what more could Yi Lingchen do? If they fought together with him focusing on the attack while Yi Lingchen focused on assisting him, they might stand a chance. However, his hand and leg were seriously injured. It was impossible to recover in such a short time. "We're done for," Maniac Chu despaired. Meanwhile, the skinny man had already reached Yi Lingchen's side. His eyes were like that of a venomous snake, cunning and vicious. "You." Just as he started his sentence, Yi Lingchen had taken action. Shifting his body, his movements were the same as Maniac Chu's, cutting upwards with a roundhouse kick. The skinny man's lips turned into a contemptuous smile, intercepting with his hand once more. However, this time, an immeasurable strength like that of a boulder burst forth, crushing everything before it. Crack! The bones in the skinny man's arm broke. The leg continued without slowing down and landed square on his face. Whoosh! His entire body flew upwards, soaring through the air like a rocket. Everyone watched as he flew across the sky in an arc, crashing into the ground after flying for tens of meters. He was knocked out before he could make a sound, laying still like a dead dog. The same movement, yet the effects were like heaven and earth. What the FCK? Maniac Chu's eyes almost popped out of its sockets. His mind was blown. How can he be that strong? He suddenly wanted to cry. To be able to remain stoic towards all his provocations and keeping his composure, that was the real expert. Leopard and the rest were both surprised and overjoyed. They were surprised that Yi Lingchen was much stronger than they had imagined and overjoyed that they were saved miraculously just like that. "So much nonsense," Yi Lingchen said calmly as he shook his head. Following that, his gaze locked onto Brother Dragon and he called the police. Sounds of sirens could be heard from a distance. Shortly after, a total of 5 police cars showed up. It was obvious how important apprehending Brother Dragon was to them. At the lead was a short-haired female officer that rushed down the car. She was in her uniform and was brimming with passion. Her expression looked both serious and excited at the same time. When she saw Yi Lingchen, she was taken aback. "Oh, it's you." Yi Lingchen was similarly shocked. This female officer was the same one that he had met on the bus, Shu Nan. Shu Nan laughed immediately. "What a coincidence. The 2 human traffickers from before were caught by you, and now their leader is also caught by you. Amazing." "What? It's him. It's actually him." Brother Dragon's eyes turned red and glared at Yi Lingchen. Within his teary eyes were a mix of both anger and sadness. "Nemesis. He is my FC King Nemesis." Brother Dragon would never have expected his nemesis to appear right before him. Furthermore, he was arrested by his nemesis. His mental state was crumbling and his eyes turned red, with warm tears rolling down his cheeks. When he was finally pushed into the police car, he could no longer hold it back and started bawling. The sorrow in his voice could move the heavens. "I really have to thank you this time. If not for you, I'm afraid he would have escaped somewhere we couldn't go. That way we won't be able to give a proper explanation for their victims." Shu Nan explained to Yi Lingchen as she saluted him. "You're welcome. It's just a coincidence." Yi Lingchen smiled. He naturally had no favorable impression of such an organization. Doing that was considered his contribution to society. "I'm sorry about last time. I was too hot-headed." Shu Nan looked at Yi Lingchen apologetically. She had changed her views of Yi Lingchen. Last time, Yi Lingchen's acute observation and ability to improvise left a deep impression on Shu Nan. This time, it shook her to the core. She took part in the operation to capture Brother Dragon. Naturally, she would understand the difficulties involved. They had even lost a few comrades because of this operation. She never expected Yi Lingchen to capture Brother Dragon this easily. It was just like a dream. "It's in the past, don't worry about it," Yi Lingchen replied with a carefree smile. It would seem that Shu Nan had graduated from a trainee to a full-fledged officer. Her way of handling things was much more matured. She also carried a heroic look between her eyes, adding an extra touch to her already beautiful face. With them busting this serious kidnapping ring, Xu Nan was prepared to award Yi Lingchen with a Good Citizen Award. However, it was rejected by Yi Lingchen. To be safe, the police escorted the criminals away immediately after they thanked Yi Lingchen. On the scene, Leopard and the rest were staring at each other blankly. Winning over 30 million from dogfighting randomly, unrivaled luck. Easily taking care of Brother Dragon, unrivaled strength. For a person with these traits, how could they not respect him? Maniac Chu's eyes were blurred, slowly trying to get his body to stand in his dazed state. He stared at Yi Lingchen, unable to focus. Finally, his gaze focused on Yi Lingchen and an excited smile appeared on his face. "You're stronger than I thought. Ha ha ha. Congratulations. You're once again my goal. I will surely surpass you." Having said that, he got onto his motorcycle and sped away. As he left, the wind carried an echo of his parting words of, "I'll be back." Is Brother Chu okay? Leopard was worried. "Relax. I think he should be fine," Snake replied. Everyone got in their cars and drove off. While in the car, Huang Xiaomeng, Li Mushui, and Yi Lingchen kept silent, which created an awkward atmosphere. "Hey, Yi Lingchen. You're now considered a millionaire. Are you still planning to stick with your old profession?" Huang Xiaomeng asked suddenly when they were almost arriving at Hillspring Residences. Old profession? That thoughtless sentence caught Yi Lingchen by surprise. He looked at Li Mushui just to realize that she was listening in with a curious expression on her face. "What old profession did I have?" Yi Lingchen gave it some thought, concluding that his profession all these while was just being a student. "Yup. This is the most suitable profession for my age," Yi Lingchen answered. The atmosphere in the car turned even more awkward instantly. Huang Xiaomeng gave Yi Lingchen a disdainful look, thinking to herself that she would have to thoroughly clean the seat that Yi Lingchen sat on. Better yet, she should change the entire car. "So FC King Filthy. Which unit is yours? We'll drop you over directly." "Right in the middle, Royal Suite." "Wow, no wonder you're still sticking to your old profession," Huang Xiaomeng harumphed, feeling even greater contempt for him. At the front gate, Zhang Yunqi was already waiting by the door. Seeing Yi Lingchen getting out of the car, she immediately came forward to welcome him. Huang Xiaomeng kept her eyes on Yi Lingchen as he entered the door with Zhang Yunqi. Only then did Huang Xiaomeng let out a sigh of relief. FCK. That gigolo changed another client. When she saw Zhang Yunqi, both Li Mushui and Huang Xiaomeng were stunned. That woman was too pretty. Furthermore, she was wearing luxurious brands from top to toe, as though she were a princess in a fairy tale. She was definitely at the level of a goddess, the legendary Miss Perfect. Was Yi Lingchen this woman's sugar baby as well? The world must be crazy. Most importantly, that woman last time was also a goddess even though she was of a different style from Zhang Yunqi. Furthermore, her family background should be decent too. Are the pretty ladies all blind? Taking turns to take Yi Lingchen in as their sugar baby? Blind. They must be blind. Huang Xiaomeng's face flushed red. If looks could kill, she would have murdered Yi Lingchen with her condescending glare. No wonder he wanted to stick to his old profession. He's in such high demands, benefiting both in terms of money and pleasures. That's some work. Moreover, that was just the two that they have seen. Who knows if he was under the care of how many more rich women out there. This type of man was equivalent to an animal. The next day came. After an entire day of classes, Yi Lingchen had some free time. Huo Yuanjia was handled by Li Tai. All he had to do was just to have an occasional look. Y Cosmetics was handled by Zhang Yunqi, with him just enjoying being the boss behind the scenes. Furthermore, his live stream was banned, leaving Yi Lingchen with nothing better to do at the moment. He required popularity points. Lazing around was not an option. Yi Lingchen reminded himself, staring at the computer in front of him, lost in thoughts. He could not do any live streams in the near future. Maybe he should write a novel? Live stream storytelling was almost the same as writing a novel. Furthermore, writing a novel was one of the backup plans he had. Since he had the time, he might as well begin. Turning on his computer, Yi Lingchen immediately logged into Genesis Chinese Literature. Genesis Chinese Literature was a novel platform under the Yuwin Group. It was the #1 novel platform in the country with good credibility. In recent years, the novel market enjoyed a huge boost. It had become a social trend that had contributed a lot of societal and monetary value to society. Its widespread influence had even reached foreign nations. It was known as one of the top 4 innovations of modern China. Yi Lingchen registered an account, joined the authors section and created a pen name. Yi Lingchen considered for a moment, then with a mischievous grin on his face, he entered, "I am Y." Completing his pen name registration, Yi Lingchen began writing his novel. The novels were categorized into urban, fantasy, shenxia, mystery, and other genres. Yi Lingchen gave it some thought, then quickly typed in, Jade Dynasty. Synopsis. The world began without celestial beings. However, since ancient times, humans witnessed the world around them being filled with unexplained incidents. Flashing thunder, raging storms, and natural disasters resulted in countless deaths with wails of suffering everywhere. It was beyond the powers of men, nor was it preventable. Going up the 9 layers of heavens, there were the celestials and gods. In the 9 serenities below, was where the spirits and King Yan's court lies. With that, countless humans prayed sincerely, subjectively creating various gods of their own and giving up offerings. Celestial Bane belonged to the shenxia genre, one of the less popular ones. When compared to the fantasy and urban genres, it was as good as ignored by the masses. That led to the editor in charge of the shenxia genre to not have a lot on their hands. Nearly 2 minutes after Yi Lingchen submitted his work, he received a notice that his title registration was complete and he could begin uploading chapters. Yi Lingchen already had a general outline in his mind. With some simple organizing, he began typing. Prologue. Time. Unknown, most likely a long time ago. Location. Divine Land 1. Since ancient times, humans witnessed the world around them being filled with unexplained incidents. Flashing thunder, raging storms, and natural disasters resulted in countless deaths with wails of the suffering everywhere. It was beyond the powers of men, nor was it preventable. In the present times, the righteous are prosperous and evil is in hiding. The Central Plains too is a beautiful place with thriving populations. Natural resources are in abundance, firmly controlled by the forces of good. Within its ranks are the 3 core pillars of Clear Skies Sect, Heaven's Voice Temple, and Incense Valley leading the fight. This particular story begins with the Clear Skies Sect. Following that, Chapter 1, Clear Skies, Chapter 2, Maze, and Chapter 3, Ambitions. He uploaded 3 chapters in one go, totaling up to over 14,000 words. Only then did Yi Lingchen stop. Typing was a physical exertion and writing the novel was a mentally draining activity. Even with Yi Lingchen's current condition, it was quite taxing. Being an author was no easy feat. Yi Lingchen could not help but lament the challenges faced by a real author, having some newfound respect for the profession. After uploading the chapters, he did not follow up and logged off the website. He felt bored as he lay on his bed, so he took out his phone and logged on to the Weibo accounts of the various Ys. After the fire rescue incident, Yi Lingchen gave it some thought and finally decided to create a Weibo account for Superhuman Y. That way he could find out what was the public perception of Superman. Furthermore, if anything were to happen, he could make a timely response to it using Superman's identity. To date, he had a total of 4 Weibo accounts: Superman Y, Actor Y, Singer Y, and Livestream Y. At that rate, Novel Y would be born very soon. At that time, Superman Y's Weibo was all filled with praises. He had no idea who started it, but people have taken Superman Y as a guardian angel. Superman Y, I pray that you bless my family's safety. Superman Y, I pray that you will bless me with a girlfriend so that I can be rid of my singleness. Superman Y, I pray that you will help my grandfather recover soon. Thank you. Superman Y, I pray that you can bless my wife with a child, please. That was just legendary. Yi Lingchen never would have known that he had such abilities had he not read the comments. What kind of Superman was that? He was being regarded as a wishing well. Worse stuff had yet to come. Further below were people making offerings for their fulfilled wishes. OMG, Superman Y, you're just too miraculous. I just prayed to you yesterday and my wife is pregnant today. Superman Y, thank you so much. My grandfather made a full recovery. Wahahaha, Superman Y, I knew that believing in you was the right choice. I passed all my tests, gratitude. He then logged off Superman Y's Weibo and switched to Actor Y. From Superman Y's shoutout during the fire rescue. Wu Han's influence on them had gone down drastically. Apart from the minority criticizing him, most of the comments were anticipating Huo Yuanjia's release, hoping to see the real kung fu within. Composer Y1's Weibo was the quietest of them all. Some people commented that they wished to hear another new song of his, but it was only Chen Xiaoyan that tried to maintain a daily conversation with composer Y. The most active Weibo belonged to Livestream Y. The incident where Y God's stream was banned caused hundreds of thousands of listeners to erupt in anger. When they received news of the stream being banned as they habitually joined Y God's stream, they were beside themselves with rage. Without them realizing, they had already developed the habit of watching Y God's streams. "Why God? You should come out and give us an explanation. Why did you get banned? Why did the platform ban Y God's stream? They must be crazy. What rules did he break?" FCK. I was witnessing the birth of a Chinese literary masterpiece in Y God's story. How did it just get banned out of the blue like that? Why God, your 10 deadly sins was only halfway done. What happened towards the end? Please finish it before you get banned. Why God? I can't sleep without first listening to your stories. I failed to sleep the entire night. Why God, don't give up. We look forward to new stories from you. In the past 2 days, his Weibo had over 100,000 comments. Some of them were of consolation, some rushing him, some questioning him, and some of them out of concern. He really felt sorry for his fans. Of course, there was quite a number that criticized him, reveling in his misery. They were just some sour grapes. So what if you're talented? You still get banned in the end, right? Trash. Yi Lingchen gave it some thought, finally deciding not to leave any message on Weibo and logged out directly instead. Following that, Yi Lingchen opened up Huyu streaming. His own stream was already removed from the searches. Why God had seemingly turned into a thing of the past and vanished without a trace from Huyu streaming. The main page recommendation banner was no longer about Why God, but instead was a girl with streamer ID of CU. Wessing with your innocent girl and sexy dancer, CU loves you. That was the content in the recommendation. It would appear that the platform started to shift their favor onto CU. Seeing that, Yi Lingchen did not have much of a reaction. He then clicked into the recommended link, just to end up with a frown. The screen was split into 2 halves. On the left was a well-dressed woman with her collarbone exposed. That was CU herself. Meanwhile, the other half was another girl. Her choice of dress was a lot more conservative. A white princess gown with a pink ribbon on her head. She had big matching eyes to the room decorated in cartoon themes. That was a very kawaii girl. Yi Lingchen naturally did not know that girl in person, but he knew her name, Wooer. Although Wooer was a gaming stream host, she would leave out some time to mingle with the viewers after a game. With the halved screen at the moment, it meant that these two were engaged in PK. PK was a part of the streaming platform's activities. Both hosts would sync their audio, then proceed to pull in support from the viewers. They will compete to see which side was given more rewards from the viewers within a certain time frame. The one with the higher rewards wins. It was a method for people to compete with each other's popularity. It was known as a battle between streams. How did Wooer end up battling someone? Moreover, it was the leading female host of the streaming platform at that. Yi Lingchen did not say anything and just watched quietly. CU's popularity completely eclipsed Wooer's. From the rewards alone one could tell that even though their PK had barely started, CU's rewards were easily 10 times more than Wooer. Wooer's mood was not good, but she still forced a smile on her face. Hello everyone. Welcome to Wooer's stream. If you have any questions related to gaming you can just voice them out. I'll go through them with you one by one. Her voice was still cute, soft, and gentle like a marshmallow. On the other side, CU was just posing in front of her screen while laughing. Sister Wooer, I have a question for you. In the previous match against the Sun Nation, why did you start feeding the opponents at the most crucial of times? Although CU sounded like she was asking a simple question, it was clearly a loaded one with the intent to discredit Wooer. In the last match with the Sun Nation, Wooer's mistake almost wasted Yi Lingchen's efforts. If they lost to the Sun Nation, then it would have been to the embarrassment of the entire country. That maneuver had become a stain in Wooer's life. For CU to bring that up at that moment between their PK period, it was an obvious personal attack. Wooer bit her lips, then apologized. Previously it was my lack of skills leading to my miscalculation of the situation. Is that so? I thought Sister Wooer did that deliberately, CU replied nonchalantly with a laugh. Wooer did that intentionally, traitorous B*TCH. Hee, Wooer dares to be a gaming stream host with such bad skills, trash. CU reminded everyone, we should support CU. Reject Wooer the traitorous B*TCH. Leave the livestream industry. In an instant, countless viewers were led by CU's actions and started to spam the chat. Next I'll sing the seaweed dance tune for everyone. CU laughed cheerfully and started singing. Just like a seaweed, 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 swaying in the currents. Seaweed, 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 seaweed dancing in the waves. While singing, her body twisted along like an eel wriggling about. Add to that her skimpy clothes, occasional flirting, and her chest swinging wildly about. It turned the atmosphere of the stream into one that was filled with charms and allure, bringing out howls from the viewers. Shake it harder, pull your clothes lower, I'll gift you a rocket. Oh woo! This is the sincere host. I support Goddess CU. What's so nice to watch on that Why God's stream? He's nowhere near as hot as CU. Wah, my nose is bleeding. I think that Why God is nothing compared to CU. Support CU forever. I love Goddess CU. Your song is great. Do another dance. I'll give you a cruise ship. For some time, countless gifts flew across the screen. Rockets and cruise ships clouded their vision. Thank you all for the gifts. I love you guys. CU placed both her hands in front of her chest to form a heart. By then, CU's gifts were far beyond Wooer. On the PK scoreboard, the results were one-sided. Wooer's gifts were insignificant when compared to CU. Beside her, Wooer's face turned pale. She was not good at singing, nor did she have good sex appeal. She could only watch from the sideline. Furthermore, CU's verbal attacks earlier left Wooer in a very awkward situation. In between, some people still sent gifts to Wooer. Even if she lost, it would not be in such a sorry state. Unfortunately, it was hardly helping. It's okay. You guys don't have to send me any more gifts. Thank you for your support. It's okay even if we lost. Wooer forced a smile at the audience. She then said, there's no need to spend all the money on gifts for a momentary frustration. It's not embarrassing for us to lose to the number one female host. Number one female host my butt. When Why God was here, she wouldn't even dare to squeak. Wooer, just ignore her, she's just a chicken, just be yourself. Damn it, just look at her. It's like she can't wait to strip naked for all to see, disgusting. Lacking in character and culture. How dare she claim to surpass Why God? She's not even comparable to Dog *T. A group of die-hard fans trying to start a trend claiming that CU can surpass Why God. What a joke. Alright now, please don't take it too personally, Wooer said with a smile. Her mood was a little better after reading those comments. Although Why God is no longer streaming, I can compile some of Why God's featured gameplay and analyze his maneuver in detail with everyone, Wooer suggested. Great, I like that idea. Although Why God no longer streams, we can't let him be forgotten. It's good to keep our memories fresh. Ha ha ha, Wooer analyzing Why God's maneuvers. That will be interesting. The stream ignored CU's attempts at provocation. It was only a few more minutes to the end of the PK session. Winning or losing was no longer important. CU sang for a while, then realized that Wooer was ignoring her. A dissatisfied look flashed across her face. The fact that Wooer would put Why God's name on the table made her even angrier. She was the number one female host of Huyu. Any other host should treat her with respect. She wanted to show Wooer who was the big shot here, trying to subdue Wooer and have her join CU's side. Wooer, you're resorting to borrowing Why God's name to leech off some popularity, CU sneered. Meanwhile, someone relayed the comments from Wooer's stream over. Within it contained those that took a shot at CU. That immediately triggered the hornet's nest. Countless people rushed into Wooer's stream and started flaming. What's the point of acting pure if you're out here in the livestream business? Your clothes are covering everything up. Just get lost. You dare criticize our CU? This stream should be banned? What's so great about Why God? What's the point of streaming contents of a banned person? Trash. You're just jealous and envious of our CU. That's why you're slandering her on purpose. B*TCH. CU's fans far outnumbered Wooer's. The criticism immediately drowned out all other comments. Comments were flying everywhere. All of them vitriolic. Some words were even more revolting. Reject wooer the traitorous B*TCH. Leave the livestream industry. Reject wooer the traitorous B*TCH. Leave the livestream industry. Reject wooer the traitorous B*TCH. Leave the livestream industry. Very quickly, the trend started. Using wooer's mistake, that phrase immediately took over the stream. That was even more direct than any form of humiliation, immediately turning wooer face deathly pale. That type of trauma was deadly to most people. An average girl would never have the face to continue her stream. I think that'll be all for today. I'll be going offline now. Wooer's eyes were on the verge of tears, looking terrible. Her tears were already wetting her eyes. She forcefully held it back in. Just as she was ready to shut down her live stream, a rocket flew across the screen out of the blue. Why God gifted wooer a rocket? The rocket was the most expensive gift on Huyu. It was impressive whenever it appeared. Moreover, it would leave a huge gift banner announcement on the stream. The sudden appearance of the rocket caused wooer's hand to pause momentarily. Immediately after that, rocket after rocket soared into the sky. Why God gifted wooer a rocket? Why God gifted wooer a rocket? Why God gifted wooer a rocket? The mighty banner never disappeared. The entire livestream was flooded with rockets. Everyone was stunned. Even the people in wooer's stream, who were busy sending gifts, forgot to type. In the entire chat box, apart from the gift notification, there was nothing else. They have seen those people receiving gifts, but who could claim to have seen the screen being flooded by rockets? 10 rockets were gifted in one shot, totaling to RMB 50,000. RMB 50,000 was not a big deal, however, to be able to throw out RMB 50,000 in just a few short seconds was quite an achievement. In that instant, wooer's total gift rewards immediately exceeded CU's. Nicely enough, the PK session came to an end. CU's gifts totaled around RMB 28,000, while wooer's gifts totaled to around RMB 51,000. A one-sided victory. Yi Lingchen let out a long sigh, then commented in the now dazed wooer's stream, "I hope I'm not late. I got onto the last train." That comment woke the majority of the people from their daze. OMG, why God? You're finally showing yourself. FC Kami. Did you know that I cried? I've FC King cried in an instant? I've waited for you forever. Just where the heck did you go? Why God? Do you know how much I missed you? Why did your stream get banned? Hot news, we have run into a wild why God. Wooer's stream went into an uproar immediately. Even though the words, one could feel everyone's passion and excitement. A lot of people resorted to following Cooled and Wooer's stream after learning of why God's stream being banned, as they were close to why God. Who would have expected to find such a surprise? Brother, why God? How come you're here? You've even sent so many gifts. So wasteful, Wooer said quickly after waking from her daze. Never mind, it's just a small sum, Yi Lingchen replied. Why didn't you tell me that you're being bullied? After the match with the Sun Nation, Wooer would chat with Yi Lingchen every so often. Apart from Wooer, Love Letter, 09, and Cooled had created a gaming group with him and discussed game-related issues. Why God, of course, was the group's leader. Wooer was younger than Yi Lingchen, also another university student. Hence, Yi Lingchen had always treated Wooer like his own little sister. Although Yi Lingchen had only said a few words, those words brought warmth into Wooer's heart. The tears she tried so hard to hold back finally escaped and she began crying. She had faced all the fears and difficulties alone previously, suppressing all the negative emotions deep inside her during the stream. However, at that moment, she seemed to have found a safe harbor for her troubled soul. Tell me what happened. Why did you have a battle with CU? Yi Lingchen asked. Before Wooer could answer, the comment section went nuts. Why God, didn't you know? After you've been banned, the streaming platform made a public announcement to dissolve all partnerships with you. That's right. The streaming platform even claimed that your 10 Deadly Sins was a banned book and criticized it heavily. This son of a B*TCH streaming platform even deleted all your work and immediately started to promote that girl that's selling her sex appeal. The most shameless thing is that the streaming platform turned your Grave Robbers Chronicles into a subscription-based title, turning it into their asset. The masses contributed their own individual input, with all of them voicing out the injustice against Yi Lingchen. Finally, someone got to the main reason behind this. CU is now the main host of the platform. Not only did she challenge Wooer, but she also challenged Cooled to a PK session yesterday and defeated her thoroughly. She's just using this as an excuse to teach Cooled and Wooer a lesson as they were on good terms with Why God. This is a typical example of how the unrighteous get intoxicated with power. She's worse than an animal. Yi Lingchen's expression turned dark immediately. He only knew that he was banned, but he did not expect the streaming platform to be so ruthless. Furthermore, CU turned out to be such a petty woman. Why didn't you guys tell me? Yi Lingchen asked. Brother, why God, you've been banned. We didn't even know how to console you. How could we further trouble you with these minor issues? Wooer replied. She dried her tears. Brother, why God, Wooer is already very happy to see you here. It's good that you're doing well. Hee, getting banned is just a small matter. What could possibly happen to me? Yi Lingchen answered nonchalantly. Don't worry about it. I'll return in a blaze of glory. Return with a blaze of glory. We've accidentally enabled Why God's bragging again. That's such a majestic statement. Amazing. Why God, Hayu's been ruthless to you. You wouldn't be planning to stay here, right? Why God, we'll wait for your return. Please don't let us wait forever. Right then, Wooer's stream vibrated. It then displayed, CU is requesting for a mic sync with you. Wooer's heart skipped a beat. A helpless expression appeared on her face. Brother, why God, what should I do now? Should I accept? Accept it. Don't be afraid. The mic sync was successful. CU once again appeared. Her expression looked rather unhappy. She was confident she would win the PK session earlier and had planned to humiliate Wooer. However, in the end, she suffered a surprise attack at the last moment, causing her to be extremely frustrated. Hee, Wooer, you sure are cunning to put on such a good act to have planned an ambush at the last possible moment, CU sneered. Following that, the stream flashed crazily with golden light. Emperor, Lord of the World has joined CU's stream. Emperor, Big Rich Man has joined CU's stream. Emperor, Young Master Kuo has joined CU's stream. Emperor, the symbol of Huyu streaming's rich folks. It was an honorary title that could only be obtained with minimum spending of RMB 1 million per month on the platform. This time around, CU came along with a few emperors. Such a grandiose lineup stunned everyone. Right after that, rockets after rockets soared through the sky. The PK session had barely started and the gifts on CU's corner had already exceeded RMB 100,000. Thank you, my emperor husbands. CU is your shared wife. I'll always love you, Muox. With a smile, CU started to tug at her clothes to flirt. 1-inch brother, why God, don't bother challenging her. There's no need for that. Wooer sent a private message to Yi Lingchen. Please, don't waste the money. Hee, the one that sent the gifts earlier was Why God, right? Is he starting to hang out at other people's streams to gain popularity now that his stream got banned? CU berated with a condescending expression. Yi Lingchen had always been above her, causing her much frustration for all these while. Now that she had finally met up with Why God, she could finally vent out all the pent-up frustrations. Do you know what you are now? You're a dog that lost its owner? You're abandoned by the whole platform. Get lost while you still can, you piece of embarrassment. Ha ha ha, nicely said CU. Why God is an ownerless dog. Hey ownerless dog, give us a few barks. Why God, didn't you just send gifts? Let's see who has more money? You guys have crossed the line. Hayu's current popularity was built up upon Why God's contribution, Wooer retorted with a frown. The streaming platform had been on the decline. It was Why God's Grave Robbers Chronicles, his match with the Sun Nation, and 10 Deadly Sins that collected all the popularity over time. At the moment, CU was reaping its benefits. Her ungrateful attitude and arrogance made her worse than an animal. You're giving too much credit to Why God. What did he do to build up the streaming platform? Even without him, I could have done better than what he did. CU said in a cold tone. He's now banned. Just look at my popularity. It's way more than his. Without waiting for Yi Lingchen's response, Wooer's stream suddenly glowed in a similar gold sheen. Emperor, Why God's diehard fan has joined Wooer's stream. Emperor, Why God's little fanboy has joined Wooer's stream. Emperor, Why God's cute little girl has joined Wooer's stream. Emperor, Why God is mighty has joined Wooer's stream. This time, the golden glow stayed for a long time. One by one, they brightened the entire stream, causing an even bigger commotion than CU did. FCK. So many emperors and all their names start with Why God. I'm scared. This is an invasion. I've seen all the emperors I needed to see in my whole life all in just one day. That's a lot of rich men. I'm impressed. What did that CU say earlier? Face slapping always comes when you least expect it. Without any senseless banter, rockets started soaring one by one all over the screen, to the point that Wooer's face was blocked out. After a full 10 seconds, the rockets started to die down. Wooer's total gifts instantly went over RMB 300,000. Wise army paying our respect to Why God? Wise army paying our respect to Why God? Wise army paying our respect to Why God? All the comments were gleaming with a vivid glow as they came from these emperors. Everyone was in shock, including CU, shocking. Overbearing. Emperors. They were the cream of the crop amongst the wealthy, and arrogance was in their nature. To ingratiate herself to these emperors, CU had to always be respectful and gentle with her tone. Sometimes she would even expose herself flirtatiously for them. However, Why God's emperors came to pay their respects instead. What that represented was beyond comparison. With that many emperor-level diehard fans, that influence was sufficient to shake the entire platform. Jealousy. Envy. Fear. CU's expression was constantly changing. Her lips trembled, yet she dared not utter a word. Yi Lingchen had never paid much attention to his fans. He did not expect to have this many diehard fans. Hello everyone, Yi Lingchen commented with a simple greeting. However, that simple greeting was more than enough. Why God's diehard fan, sob sob sob. Why God, you finally returned. When are you telling us a new story? Why God's little fanboy, Why God, I didn't see what this platform was good for after you've been banned. I've missed you so. Why God's cute little girl, ah, Why God you're really here. I thought it was some prank by someone. Why God is mighty. I didn't expect you streaming to be so shameless. I regret spending my money on this platform now. That's right. This platform is extremely shameless. Worst of all, they even promoted some trash like CU. I'm not coming back in the future. A person that lost his influence will be subjected to such indignity. No matter the circumstances, Why God, I will support you. I'll send my remaining money over to Sister Wooer and not top up any more money into Huyu. Countless comments made the screen a confusing mess. At that instant, Wooer's stream's traffic showed signs of overtaking CU. It did not require any recommendation. All it needed was a simple presence, Why God. Wooer was at a loss for words from the excitement. She was both crying and smiling at the same time. Never once did she dreamt of her stream to reach such a level. CU's mouth was agape. Words failed her at this point. She wanted nothing more than to find a hole to hide in at that time. Furthermore, the emperors on her end had either kept silent or just outright exited the stream. The results of the PK session was without a doubt a complete victory by Wooer. CU quickly ended her stream and rushed towards the streaming platform's headquarters. She pushed the office doors open, and as she had expected, Zhou Min and Wang Yuan were both there. Their faces looked terrible and gloomy. Why God's influence was far beyond our imagination. Maybe Song Qian was right. At that moment, Wang Yuan's face was lined with regret. CEO Wang, you don't need to be that worried. Why God has just only returned. It's just a coincidental grand entry. Zhou Min's eyes brightened, then further advised, he was just banned not long ago and his influence has not cooled off yet. This is the peak of his influence, but it comes and goes quickly. Soon he will be forgotten by everyone. Hearing Zhou Min's words, Wang Yuan's expression relaxed a little. Meanwhile, Zhou Min signaled at CU with her gaze, which she understood immediately. She then put on a seductive smile and walked towards Wang Yuan. CEO Wang, Grave Robbers Chronicles is Why God's magnum opus. You already own half his copyright. Why do you have to worry? It's unlikely for him to come up with another work that will surpass this masterpiece, said CU with a smile as she rubbed herself against Wang Yuan while sitting on his thigh. You're right. Wang Yuan nodded. He looked at CU with a perverted smile as he continued caressing her. After the PK session, Wooer thanked everyone and then went offline. She immediately gave Yi Lingchen a call. Brother Why God, I have to thank you for today. If not for you I really wouldn't know what to do. Wooer thanked him. She was a girl and it was only natural that she could not tolerate being mocked by the masses. Before that, she was already planning to leave her career as a livestream host. If not for Why God's timely appearance, The incident would have only spiraled further out of control. She would have been the laughingstock for the entire streaming platform. You helped us fend off the Sun Nation. It should be me thanking you. How can I let you suffer through that? Yi Lingchen answered with a smile. In the match against the Sun Nation, Wu had put in a lot of effort. It was just one mistake. Yet she was on the receiving end of countless criticism from people that did nothing to help. That itself was unfair to start with. He believed that in that match, not many would be able to do better than Wu. Brother, why God? What are you planning to do next? Wu asked out of curiosity. It doesn't matter. I'll just go with the flow. Yi Lingchen replied, don't worry, I'm very capable. I won't starve on the street. Wu stuck out her tongue, then said, then I'll transfer the reward money from earlier to you. The money was gifted to you from your die-hard fans after all. It's okay, no need for that. Since they gifted it to you, you should keep them. I'm not short on cash. After some casual chatting, Yi Lingchen ended the call. His eyes suddenly glowed, then gave Song Qian a call. Why God? Song Qian sounded exhausted. Yi Lingchen confirmed calmly, don't you think you owe me an explanation? I'm sorry, Song Qian made a bitter laugh. I have already tried to fight for you, but Wang Yuan was not budging in his decision. Furthermore, Zhou Min had been giving Cu all her support. There was nothing I could do. I'm okay with being banned, but Cu should not have attacked my friends, Yi Lingchen said in a serious tone. Cu was attacking your friends? Song Qian was caught by surprise. I didn't expect them to be more vicious than I have imagined. You didn't know about this? I'm no longer working with Huyu Streaming. Song Qian sighed. I was the only one in the entire company that objected to banning you. It got a bit too heated and I impulsively resigned. Song Qian then continued, those people have horrible foresight. It's no wonder Huyu Streaming was going downhill in the past. Your appearance has just helped the platform recover, yet they turned on you right after that. The platform has no future. I have no need for such a job.